Here this morning for U.S. equities, once again, 2 days in a row back to the downside ahead of NVDA earnings to come after the close tonight. That's going to be the big one as far as our earnings this week. We'll talk about NVIDIA coming up here. We're also going to get Fed minutes from the latest meeting. We touched on that a little bit yesterday afternoon with Frank. He was talking on the sense that this is a very lagging number, not a number, but a very lagging release in that we know everything that's happened already from that meeting, but we'll get a little bit more detail as far as how they voted, why they voted, and a little more detail on what is to come possibly. We do have Fed's Barkin speaking right now, so just keep an eye out for some market moves. More earnings this morning as well to digest a little bit pre-market here as well. It's Wednesday, February 21st, 2024. Tradertv.live starts now. Cues right now back to the downside here, as I mentioned, pre-market through 425 right now for the NASDAQ after yesterday. We had that really sharp sell-off to start the week and start the morning, specifically yesterday, before a little bit of a late day bounce yesterday for tech specifically. It's all about NVIDIA earnings coming up after the close tonight. Chips in general going to be in focus. Tech in general going to be in focus here as well. Just be aware, Barkin speaking right now. We're also going to get FOMC meetings, as I mentioned, or minute meetings. Minutes? Something to that effect coming up at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Probably will be a non-event, as we've already had that details from that meeting come and go.
Yeah, these are always a bit of a lagging indicator because they've had an opportunity to come on television to talk multiple times since the meetings were drafted. So we'll have to wait and see what we get there. But NVIDIA on deck, that's what I'm looking for today. Make sure to stick around with the market recap show because you're going to see that live after 4 o'clock. Guys, this stock has increased 5-fold since 2022. So, and really largely driven by the purchases and the orders by the hyperscalers. So as they go, NVIDIA goes, let's see how they do today.
Just seeing a note here, TSMC selling 850,000 shares of ARM in a filing just coming across there. So heads up on ARM, 102 million worth. Again, Taiwan Semi selling 850,000 shares of ARM. Obviously another one that's had a huge move here, guys. Chips going to be a big deal here, probably.
The chips? Yeah, they'll be okay today. I mean, you think NVIDIA day. That's an interesting note about TSM selling their ARM stake. I read this morning that Samsung sold the last of their stake in ASML. So everybody is taking. They were doing that for the last couple of years, but still, everyone's taking some shares out. You know who's done selling? At least temporarily, is Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos completed his 50 million sale that was filed in November, and Amazon's going into the Dow, which everyone cares about. So Amazon's going into the Dow, Uber is going into Dow Technologies, but it's all eyes on the chips today because NVIDIA's got to put up or shut up, and all of the earnings last night basically shut up instead of put up, and that's going to be put to the test tonight. It's one of those, it's really difficult when everything's been so ridiculous and you're going 4x growth, 3x revenue growth, 4x specifically on the new chip, profit growth 7x. Like the numbers have been so obscene, and it's going to be really trouble for them to be able to sort of knock it out of the park to the extent they've done it before. But not knocking out of the park, you've got Palo Alto down 24%, you've got SolarEdge down double digits, you've got Teladoc down over 20% as well. So 3 big names all going to open over 10% to the downside and all going to be worth watching for the trade. I got my eyes already on some Palo Alto, and I want to short some pops in that SolarEdge. The miss on the guide by SolarEdge was nasty.
Look, you guys want to talk about what a good quarter looks like? Come over to my screen, and we'll show you guys what a good quarter looks like. Here's Palo Alto. They beat everywhere. Okay? But then they guide lower. What do you think NVIDIA is possibly going to do today? Like this is just the beginning. I don't have a long, any chip names. I've never written ARM long on a sticky note, ever. Okay, we've made a lot of money going short arm, and today I feel like, I mean, we talked about SMCI last week on the market recap show when this thing was at 1080 in the aftermarket. We had Danielle Shea on, and I said, give me some, this was on Thursday, I said, give me some options for 700 on Thursday. Happened in 2 days. And then you have today, it's just like, look, NVIDIA will get chopped in half at some point. I don't know when that will happen, but we've seen this kind of a move happen before. We've seen this kind of a move happen in Palo Alto before as well. NVIDIA lost 70% of their market cap, I think, in 2021. So let's just see what happens. You know, I mean, I still like the stock. I don't know if I'm going to be selling any of this name, but, you know, today, we talked about this last week. They rolled out all last week, all upgrades, trying to get everybody suckered into this name. You know, now we'll just see what happens. We'll see. Because the thing is, if smart money sold up here at 740, 750, the big money, I'm not talking about trimming positions. I'm talking about real positions. You know, what they're able to do even right now today is they're able to buy this name back from a 740 sell down here at 680. So they're already taking de-risked off of their own upgrades, have de-risked now the stock down into this level. So now, apparently nobody knows what the earnings are going to be, right? So now we're going to have a much depreciated stock price in NVIDIA into the print. And it's not even that depreciated. You go from 740 down to 680. So that's 50, 60, 70 bucks on 700. You're down 7, 8% heading into the print. So even if they miss and it goes down another 10%, well, guess what? All those upgraded guys up here that sold into your buys are now at least only down that 8 or 9%, while everybody else is stuck up the top down 25, 30%. So let's see what winds up happening here with NVIDIA. I'm still long the name. I mean, it's still a decent holding. My biggest position is still Google. The problem is if NVIDIA misses and they guide something like Palo Alto guided down, I think it was $200 million, something like that, and their stock lost 20 billion. So we can all, you know, sort of extrapolate potentially what could happen here tonight with NVIDIA. Let's fingers crossed they beat and raise.
All right, just be aware, market downside here. Fed's barking, just saying the U.S. still has a ways to go to get its soft landing. Maybe tell the market that. Maybe they're trying to tell the market that. But anyways, yeah, there's ARM, as Sean was mentioning, back to 116. But yeah, we're already getting comments here from Barkin. He was scheduled for 9:10. Guess he has a lot to say today, so just be aware. Bostic set to come back a little bit later on as well. We'll also get Michelle Bowman making some comments today coming up at 1 o'clock. There's a 20-year bond at 1 o'clock as well, so this afternoon could get a little bit exciting on the midday show. Another great day yesterday. We had trading terms all week this week. What are you talking about today?
Yeah, we're continuing with that. I don't actually have the lesson in front of me. Put me a little bit on the spot there, Brendo, but I'll make sure to let you guys know before we're finished the morning. Yes, all week long we're talking about trading terms, even things that you may just think, oh, well, I already knew what this was. We'll look at the bit more of a nuanced definition, Brendo.
All right, one of the things, my apologies. One of the things we were talking about yesterday was EVs in focus. Rivian tried to bounce a little bit this morning back to that $16 area, I guess it was, from late in the day yesterday. Randy was here touching on how he was very, very fond of the R1T specifically at the auto show over the weekend. Keep in mind, guys, coming up in about 2 weeks, it's March 7th, we're gonna get that preview of the 2 platform, the R2 platform from Rivian. So 1580 holding here this morning, but still a little bit downside, about 0.5% here for Rivian early on.
Yeah, and RJ Scaringe coming out at least this past weekend and giving a specific price, can't even talk today, with respect to that new platform, saying it's going to be around that $48,000 mark, that sweet spot that he says that should elicit a lot of orders. We'll have to wait and see what they do here. Yeah, but like you said, March 7th, can't wait.
Yeah, and I mean, he's alluded in the past to the simple fact that they need to go less luxury, less tech, more affordable, more of a broad appeal for that model. So we'll see how that goes. Crude oil futures are moving around here. I just heard in my ear as well. Positive on the day. We had a big move up late in the day yesterday for oil before it absolutely tanked into the pit session close. Yields back to the upside today, guys. A lot going on so far.
Yeah, lots going on, and the best part about it is a lot going on with the channel as well. Yesterday was the launch of that awesome dashboard. I think everyone was in love with this, and we're going to keep it going. There were some good suggestions for things that we can do to improve it. And everything's always a work in progress, but it was a great alternative. Just throw it up on the side. You're going to get some movers. You can already see some pre-market gainers in there, and then flashing news. We'll have news coming through. You'll have an idea of what's on the schedule for the day. It's just about giving you the resources here, Trader TV Live. And so you have to go over to more tradertv.live to be able to see it, and you can throw them up simultaneously. I think it's a fantastic resource, and we're always welcome to suggestions, like little things. Just hit us up in the chat, DM us. If you're like, oh, could it show this, or I can't really see. Someone out was mentioning something about the actual short and the red not being clear enough. We fixed the issue where you weren't looking at the overnight, you weren't looking at the pre-market gainers and decliners. You can see there, it's obviously all correct because look how nasty PANW, TDOC, and SolarEdge are. We got stuff to say about those 3 names respectively because it's actually weird that PANW is down the most, but also in some ways not weird. But yeah, everybody check it out. It's going to be up during that midday, and you can see it before we go live, which is, I think, a fantastic resource. Rivian today, 16 bucks. I mean, it's going to sit there because of what happened yesterday. It flushed at the open. It didn't get to that 15 level that we like. And why do we like 15? I mean, come on, look at the daily chart. That's why you like the 15 level, because it's been holding and bouncing every single time. You had a chance to get there yesterday, and if there was fall through, maybe you would actually had that happen today. But I think the first thing to look at will be the $16 level. I'm a little bit more interested in a bunch of tech names and a couple of earnings plays today, specifically some of the chips, but eyeballs on the 16 level, and we shouldn't be sleeping. I said this yesterday as well. It's getting the more NEO coils, and it tried to fall again yesterday. Now it's back above that $6 level. I have 630 marked off because that's been resistance for a little bit here. And even if I think $7 is going to be a bigger level for NIO, but the entire space is gapping up the Chinese ADRs because of more talk, now talk about restricting some active trading, essentially from the algo side and some of the quants, and maybe hurting some short selling. Anyways, propping up the market essentially is what it's boiling down to over in Asia, which keeps my eye on NEO. I think one of these days, it's going to break out of this range. And every time it climbs up, I got my eyeballs on it for the breakout the top. Because we're gapping up a couple of points today, it is on the radar. I like the $5 level. I don't think we see that. But one of these days, NEO is going to finally break this 2-month long bottom.
Look, we have, yeah, for sure. I have Alibaba written there. We'll talk about some Chinese names in a minute. I have like the long in Alibaba. We'll see Rivian right here. I think you got to go with the short up there at 16 bucks. I would just, and I just wrote down in here, we'll see. We have to wait for the R2T. We have to wait for earnings. That's all coming tonight. But the sticky note is just out right now. I will be looking short on Rivian. And it's just like, right there, it's pretty easy trade. I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with looking here. Into that level, that's 16 right there. Looks like it's been a pretty good top. So if it wants to get into that level, we'll short Rivian up in and around $16. You can get out of it, take 16.30, 16.40, something like that, and don't worry about some of these wicks higher. So yeah, I'm already sitting here with an offer. So I've got a good amount of shares there, maybe too many, but up here near 16. So let's see if we get that. Again, a pretty tricky trade heading into earnings, but we'll trade it. I like the weakness in Rivian. EV names, obviously not hot. We've just talked about some of those ones. We'll see what happens. Tesla's just getting the bump up because of some of that corporate structure there, and people like what Elon's been doing with that new filing there. So I feel like Rivian's a short until it proves it, and it's going to prove it tonight. So we'll see here tonight where we come out with. Hopefully it's a huge long. I know there's a lot of traders long this name. Some long, down at the bottom. The bottom was 12. So I feel like if you do get missed up on the quarter, you could print down into 13, 14 again. So that could be something there for Rivian where people are waiting for. But that's a name that I'm looking at. It's on the sticky note and it fits our topic.
Crazy. Yeah. We were just talking about Roku. We'll touch on that in a second here, but I want to show this. Bitcoin with that nasty reversal yesterday when stocks tanked as well back to 51 and change right now, so we've bounced off 51,000 a couple of times. Just be aware, we're supposed to get the Red Book release here coming up any minute, so the market could move on that. It has in the past. 51,000 though, trying to hold some of the related equities. I was noticing downside again. Here's Mara, Coinbase as well, downside here pre-market. So Kathy Wood was in there selling yesterday.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, she was selling Coinbase. She was selling Robinhood to pick up about $25 million worth of Roku shares. So number one, we'll have to wait and see if 50,000 ends up being that key psychological support level. We all think it will be, but if it doesn't, the next level on my chart is at 47.5. So we'll have to actually wait and see whether we break 50,000 or not. Great day of trading ahead, Brendo.
Yeah, 30 bucks off the pre-earnings levels here for Roku this morning. So Kathy Wood buying the dip here, guys, for Roku.
Kathy Wood buying the dip on Roku. Hello.
I, for one, am shocked.
Yeah, I thought we had discussed this, Kathy, and we didn't want to do this yet.
Save some money for TeleDoc today. You're going to have to buy that too.
I didn't even look at TeleDoc today. All right, so, I mean, Roku... Yeah, I mean, that's what Kathy Wood does, is she destructs wealth. We've already talked about this, right? And so Brian Shannon had an article out that she is the single biggest destructor of wealth in U.S. history. So you can go find Brian Shannon's article for that. Just talking about the amount of money that all of her ETFs have lost. All right, so she's in there buying. They like to buy depressed names. Obviously, this is going to be another one of those. I wonder, you know, where the last time they were buying. I don't understand it. I didn't read basically the upgrade. Whenever you're buying a stock, you're essentially upgrading it, or you know, you believe in the price levels that it's currently at and you think it can go higher. So I don't know. There goes Roku to the downside here. I feel like the NASDAQ is like, it's not an imminent destruction or anything like that, but like if names like Roku are going to get bought up now, I just fear that, like, you know, why are we not buying a little bit higher quality names that actually have a PE and things like that? So I'm a little bit worried. Only $2 billion in cash, market cap of $8 billion, obviously running through cash. I mean, I have to go back and read their report, but just looking at the stats, man, I mean, it's pretty down. She can't, with that kind of a buy that's still down double what the market is. So, I mean, for me, I think it's a little bit of a hard pass. All of the PEs now, PANW had a huge PE. You know, so it gave back, what, 3 months worth of earnings there in PANW. Like we just said, it's back to November areas, so that sucks. And the same kind of thing is true of Roku here. You're right back into like October, November areas. So we had that huge bottom that was made back in October when everyone thought Fed pivot. Now all of a sudden the Fed is not pivoting at all, apparently. And now we had mortgage rates back up to highs again with a lower mortgage demand than they've seen all year. Maybe Roku is getting near a bottom into this like $58, $60 level. So if you're thinking that, then yeah, this isn't a horrible buy. It's the same thing. I mean, I have buys down here now for PANW. And here's the pushback. Actually, you're not even pushed back into November levels, but that would be down here 240. But this is a name that's back to the 200 period moving average as well, with a bad PE, right? And so some of these names are going to get hit, especially when they have good quarters and guide lower. So Roku, obviously, on a third day. You know, we always talk about buying things on third days.
That's 65.
Kathy Wood must be watching the show. So here we go. Third day, she's buying up Roku.
I mean, it looks more interesting on the daily at $50 than it does at 65. I went to check, to double check. They don't have a forward PE either. So sometimes you like to look at that forward number to give you a better gauge. No, that's not going to help out there with Roku. But look, we always say let things settle down and make an earnings bottom. To its credit, the only reason I'm saying 65 is because it made a bit of a low yesterday, but it did the same thing the day before. And until something like that post-earnings holds a couple of days, I'm not really thinking about the long. It's either the SSR long bounce on that first or second day, or it's show me a double bottom, and then it gets a little bit interesting from there. But on the daily chart, like you tell me what's good. When this broke the trend to the upside, like it tried to go, it's probably way too far that trend line, but when it tried to go, it just tore right back through what was the previous bottoms, tore through the 200 period. I don't see why it's unrealistic to head down into the 50s. Wouldn't shock me whatsoever. I mean, like a stock like PANW, I'm already stink bidding in front of the 200 period moving average. This, to me, if you're interested, I guess wait for the $50 level because that was super significant going back into October, November.
Oh man, we were just digesting Beyond Meat's chart. If you zoom out here, I haven't looked at that. I have to be honest. I haven't looked at this in quite some time, and it's $7 for anyone else who has not pulled up Beyond Meat in quite some time. This is a weekly chart. 630 was the bottom. It held on to a couple of times down here. Like, what was it, $46, $47 on the IPO? It hasn't been anywhere near this for quite some time, but just double checking as well, 36% short interest still on Beyond Meat, but don't fear because there's a healthier version of their burger.
Yes, Brendo. Apparently, they're going to use avocado oil. It's going to cut saturated fat by about 60%. To about 2 grams of saturated fat for the burger there. They're also looking to cut the sodium, which was really high in the original recipe, by about 20%. Guys, it's been really bad here for their sales. Sales are down aggressively, 60% over the last 2 years. With respect to the sales, retail sales of meat alternatives, it's fell 33.6% year over year. So it's a tough look, Brendo, and really trying to hold on to above the dollar status. Who knows where we get?
Yeah, I mean, the story really, as far as trading is concerned, 36% still to the short side of things here for BYND.
See, they need something like just something to get people's excitement back with it. Like the McRib. You know what I mean? It's like you think, and the only reason I'm saying that is like you basically have, McDonald's has a product which, I mean, let's be real. I actually had one yesterday. That's why it's on top of my mind. Where like everyone gets really excited when it comes out, regardless of how good it may or may not be. But it sort of generates that oomph because nobody cares about Beyond Meat right now. Like there's no question it's an interesting concept, and there's no question that it's not. Like it's here to, in some form, it's here to stay. Like whether it's plant-based or the grown, like it's not going anywhere. But there's something called like the minority principle, and basically the way it works is you can have an alternative product, but it's not going to go wide. Like it'll get widespread, and even people who aren't into that sort of thing are going to eventually use it if you can qualify, if you can satisfy a couple of things. One, it needs to be the same. It needs to be pretty much the same cost as the alternative. And then it needs to have, in this particular case, its characteristics need to be essentially no different, which means the taste needs to be essentially no different. And then on top of that, the health, it needs to be as nutritious as the alternative. So if you're like within 1% of all three of those things, then a lot of people are going to be eating it. There's no question about that. That's just human nature. That's just the way of the world. You can actually read it up. Like that's the reason, I won't get into like certain things you'll see in the grocery store that you don't even know might be like kosher or not, because nobody cares, because it's exactly the same product. So they just make them all that way, and then you satisfy it. At some point you get there. I don't think you're there yet. And I think this stock, if you're trading it, it's got a nice $6 level. That's about the only good thing I'll say. If you're a squeeze name, which is to me what this is, you're either breaking out on volume or you're getting a ridiculous bottom that you can find a bunch of bids on there and just look for a bounce type play. And if it's a squeeze name and it's not breaking out, which right here you can sort of see it needs to take 750, maybe even the $8 level, I would say, then it gets a little bit interesting. But what's the catalyst for that? I don't know. And I was joking about the McRib. I just had that one on my brain because I ate one last night. And I was a little bit disappointed, actually, at McDonald's. I feel in my brain that thing tasted way better years ago, but I could be wrong about that. But it's better than the Beyond Meat stuff.
Yeah, I was at McDonald's with the girls on Saturday in between games. They went with their team. We had one of the wraps. The wraps are pretty good, actually.
Yeah, they're good, man.
Yeah, it was a some kind of chicken chili wrap or something like that. It was pretty good. Yeah, I was told not to get the McRib, so I was going to get that as well. Yeah, Beyond Meat pass, who cares? I mean, honestly, it's like we use avocado oil at home. I feel like, I feel like it's a great move for the company, but 13,000 shares now. I'm not even, you know, it's interesting. It's fun to talk about, but Adara has much more important stocks that might actually be moving at some point here. So let's go over to Miss A.
Kicking things off here with a Walmart upgrade here from Telsey Advisory Group. This comes after its earnings yesterday where it beat across the board. Lots of announcements, including that Vizio acquisition. ChargePoint also getting an upgrade here from the Benchmark company, up almost 2%. Norfolk Southern getting an upgrade from Barclays, and Confluent getting an upgrade here from Stifel. For downgrades, Palo Alto kicking it off here with a Rosenblatt downgrade, this one trading much lower after its earnings, particularly with that lower than expected revenue guidance for the year of 2024. Eli Lilly down almost 2% after a downgrade from DZ Bank. HSBC Securities downgrading Home Depot, which was our other big retail earnings name from yesterday, with a decrease in sales year over year. And last but not least, Wendy's with a downgrade from JP Morgan Chase, guys.
DZ Bank must have had like an Eli Lilly price target of 1,000. You're downgrading it to 8. I mean, with a price target of 820, that's still 11 or 12% from where it is today. Although Eli Lilly is down 2.5%. That's because it tested the $800 level. I mean, look, I don't know how many charts are going to look like this, but the answer is going to be a lot. Where if you've been making parabolic moves to the upside in the last couple of days, some starting last week, notice SMCI probably stands out the most, and then a lot of them sort of following through or starting yesterday. In the case of Eli Lilly, this started yesterday, but it's not even that big. It's not a huge pullback in the grand scheme of things when you pull up a daily chart until it gets to like the 50 period sits at $640. PANW went from the highs to the 50 period in a heartbeat, and the 200 period's now like 10, 15 bucks away, where I have a stink bid in front of that 260 on PANW. But Lilly, I think you could easily be back in the 600, and that's actually pretty reasonable. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Sometimes these things that wind up really fast, they can pull back the exact same way. And just remember, in the middle of last year, this was a $400 stock. So if it goes to 600, is anybody sweating that owns this in the 1s, 2s, 3s, like all that good stuff? You got to sometimes keep a bigger picture. I like looking sometimes at the weekly chart of your long-term holdings, because then it really puts some of these things into perspective. But it would not surprise me if Eli Lilly even found its way back to the 50-period moving average sometime in the next weeks and months. And even then, I think that's a healthy pullback. When things get too parabolic, there needs to be some kind of a pullback, or you just get too insane. And then it just makes the move down even more drastic when it eventually comes.
Looking at Palantir here, because very, very similar situation here. But hold on, I gotta go to overview. I was just looking at some of this, right? Like, thing is like right into here. See, the price to earnings right here is 74. You know, that's their forward. Their current PE is 260. You know, down 4% today. Some of these names are going to fall back in. You have a Salesforce with a PE of 29, Adobe with a PE of 30, SAP, like these are all very, very, I mean, into it, but these are all similar names that, you know, that are working in the data space. So you do have a lot of these names that are really starting to get, you know, like a Palo Alto was yesterday, came back into life a little bit more, right? And so I feel like this name is definitely, some of these names are way, way overheated. You're probably going to see a name like DraftKings to the downside, breaking through 40 bucks again here today. So this is going to be another name that's under pressure. We've seen Roku get snapped. We saw PANW get hit right there. And then you see Eli Lilly. There's so many names that have been on such huge runs as of late. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong at all with Uber. Uber is performing at a extremely high level, and they're even getting chopped up just a little bit here. I mean, back to 76, I don't think is a worry. But, you know, something back into 70, I think you sit there with open arms and try to buy some of these names. So it's just like, we've already seen it before. If I told you NVIDIA is going to go down by 70% this year, it's happened before, and it only happened 2 years ago. Like, I know the times have changed, and AI is here, and I don't think we're going anywhere near those kind of lows. But even a 10 or 15 or 20% haircut on an NVIDIA, it's already down now 7 or 8, and that's on nothing. So yeah, I just got one, but I can have another one, sure. You know, all the way to the downside there into 680, you could start to bring this down. And if NVIDIA warns and guides lower, the problem is 40% of their business is Amazon, is Google, is Microsoft. So if they're going to guide lower, then you're also going to get this guy, the Trips, all the way to, I don't know how far down this name's going to go, but you can watch out for a pretty dramatic day tomorrow in the triple Qs if there is any kind of a downside revenue miss moving forward for NVIDIA. It's going to be pretty disastrous across the board. So let's just get ready. Look, we can sit here and wax poetic all about, how great these chip names are, but at the same time, you have to be very, very, alert that there is a lot of downside potential here in many of these names right now. The market, me and Brendan talked about this 2 podcasts ago, the market PE is over 50% higher than where it normally rests its head. So, unless we think this world is 50% better, I am a little bit nervous about current valuations.
It's better, just not 50. Like, you know what I mean? Like, AI is going to be something. It's just a matter of, like, you had the exuberance, and now you get that calming period where things, like, sort of settle down into, okay, what's the actual trajectory here? Like, what is the cycle that when everyone stops upgrading, like, when do they upgrade again? Is it a couple of years? When is that next spike? You saw it happen with EVs, right? Like, EVs are in that lull. It's going to be over at some point.
You saw it happen with everything, man. Crypto went 66,000 down to 14,000, down to 12,000.
Market cycles.
You've seen the chips go where they're going to go. The valuation of NVIDIA is absolutely absurd. It's the whole valuation of the Chinese market. So let's just sit back and relax here a little bit, and let's see a great report. I mean, I'm excited. I want them to beat. I want them to beat and raise and everything. I mean, it's just, let's see where it
beat, split, buyback, do all that stuff. You're going to need it. And maybe they'll talk about a split again, because
the thing is, everyone's so negative on it. Maybe it's just one of those things where it just starts to rip. That could be possible. People that sold and will regret it. We'll see. Anything could happen. All right, back to the desk.
49.91, guys. That's where we closed out on the ES yesterday. Let's look at the area of support that we could possibly encounter. That's going to have to take us down to 49.50. We troughed out there back on the 13th, and we also have a key level of resistance there back on January 30th. To the high side, obviously, it's that double top that we put in, Brendo, at 50.50. Let's see what we do.
If you have not done so, make sure you grab that. Every single morning we send it out for nothing, free. Use a QR code or go to watchlist.tradertv.live, enter your email address, and then it just shows up, has everything on it you need to know in the pre-market every single day. First 30 minutes of the show also brought to you by Hedgeye. Their free all-access week features 10 high-performance investing products. You'll get 7 days of complimentary stock ideas, market analysis, and trade signals. Register free at Hedgeye, hedgeye.com/TTV. Let's talk about NVIDIA coming up after the close tonight. The big one all week as far as earnings is concerned. Sean just did a great job of summing it up here. I saw a lot of these types of headlines this morning, analysts coming out with opinions as to, what could happen if we get the negative reaction here for the entire group, not necessarily just NVIDIA. NVIDIA we can almost set aside and talk about that after the fact. But for the entire group, this is very important.
Yeah, the SMCIs, the ARMS, AMD, Intel probably not going to be spared from that group either. Let's look at how they've done so far. 5-fold increase, guys, in the stock price and the market cap of this name since 2022. Analysts are expecting a 240% increase in revenue year over year to about $20.6 billion for the quarter ending January 28th. It's going to be huge, but there is risk. Obviously, it's a cyclical name. We know semiconductors are cyclical. They're in vogue today. They're not in vogue tomorrow. Also, there's hyperscaler risk. It's Microsoft, Meta, Amazon's, the big names that are buying these chips hand over fist. And when they stop, revenues are going to dry up, Brendo.
The more relevant question, I guess, for right now, guys, is there a trade today going into this?
No.
No.
Okay, there you go.
Your turn.
Oh yeah, you had me there. I'm looking where I was yesterday, to be honest with you, with one other name, and it hasn't always been right at NVIDIA, and I get it. They're the ones reporting today. They're the ones reporting after the bell, but let's be real. Sometimes the ancillary move or the sympathy move or something else gives you the setup that you like. So when I look over I'll get to Intel in a second. I like the same level as yesterday. It's a different one here on AMD because when talking about a trade setup, if I'm thinking there's some risk off going on here, then thank you very much, Randy, for the reload.
Thank you.
Yes. Appreciate it, brother. Got to get that coffee reload in there. It's an important part of your day. And I think one of those things that we talk about this like routine all the time. If I only have like one coffee before we start the open, then I know that I'm going to be a little bit sluggish. Sometimes I'll get not a headache or anything like that. If I have none, I'll get a headache. But yeah, you just want to be right, and appreciate you, Randy. So I like support into resistance. You heard me say it a million times. So if I can find a level like that, support into resistance, that's 166 on AMD. So if it pops into there, I want to be short into that number. And maybe it has to start at 165. We closed at 165.70. I don't know if Intel's going to give the same setup. They did have the news of the news of that 10 billion plus potential subsidy coming through, and then you did actually get money to Global Foundries from the U.S. government, and they own a stake in them, so they were gapped up yesterday, and then just rejected the same post-earnings level up at 45. But this is a little bit, when you look at it since earnings, it's making some higher lows, so you really want to wait for the 45 level. Just shorting it early doesn't make any sense. So it has to get up there, maybe even breach and fail the break of 45 again. But I like the 166 fade on AMD. If there was something or is something that was a little bit strong yesterday, Micron's been a dog for a while, like actually weaker in a trend basis than some of the other names we've been looking at just now, including Intel. But it did this little move here in the afternoon off the $80 level, 80 resistance into an 80 breakout into 81. So if that holds 80, and there is a green day today, I mean, Micron through 81 looks pretty good, but that's not, I don't want to be taking a breakout. I'll join a trend to the upside. I'm not at the point that I'm liking a breakout on pretty much anything, unless it's a squeeze name. Like if there's a squeeze name setting up for a break, that's one thing today. But otherwise, I'd have to see this trending and holding VWAP in the morning to be able to go along a Micron. But I am noticing that strength that we had in the afternoon.
All right. The number one P&L chip name on the floor this month is ARM. So that's why I said there's not going to be a trade for me on NVIDIA, because I'm going to be looking here at ARM today. This is probably this and Amazon are going to be my two top stocks for the month. And like I said, the number one stock for the floor on the month is going to be ARM. And honestly, like this top here at 122 is just so good. So if there's any kind of a rally at all in NVIDIA or AMD or any of those stocks, I don't want to stand in front of that train, but I'll stand in front of ARM. So ARM down another 4% here today. I really like this short at 122. I feel like we have easy outs. We'll see if we can start it. And I wrote it down. By the way, it's up. You can go find it at Trader TV, Sean the Stick. You know it. It's right there. It's pinned. 120. Let's just start the party at 120. I have an offer right now at 120 on ARM. If we can get anywhere into this area, I really, really think, like, forget about guessing with NVIDIA or anything like that for me. I know what I want to do here with ARM, and we've seen these levels. It was great yesterday. Like I said, we'll put that monkey on our back, man, and trade ARM, because like it's been a banger of a stock so far in the last couple weeks. So we got to stay where the money is. We talked about that with Obi and stuff like that as well. So we've done really well. Intel's, again, another really top stock. So we'll look at them all. But for now, I've got ARM more on my radar.
Just seeing a couple of notes here on Apple coming across. Just be aware, Apple saying they've boosted iMessage security to fend off quote-unquote quantum computing attacks. That was for Apple. And then Apple also introducing Apple Sports, a free app for iPhone that gives sports fans access to real-time scores, stats, and more. So Apple not moving on that, but a little bit positive to start the morning. Amazon, on the other hand, worth a note today, coming off this announcement. It's going into the Dow 30. What a day. Bezos was in there selling more yesterday.
Unreal how much he's selling, Brendo. But yeah, looking to cash in there. Nice. He put that plan out in November, by the way, so we kind of already had news about it. But with respect to the Amazon headline itself, it is replacing Walgreens, which hasn't been in the Dow for all that long. Walgreens replaced General Electric back in 2018, so it spends about 6 years in there. We'll have to see how this goes. The change is expected to go, in fact, in the pre-market, Brendo, on February 26th.
I was watching a video, this is going back a couple months ago, about Jeff Bezos' new yacht. So Jeff Bezos' new yacht has a yacht that just follows it. So like most yachts have like a chase boat or like a runner that takes people in and
What
out
did he
from,
call that
from the
thing?
shore. I can't remember, but a tender. That's it. But his yacht's tender is essentially a yacht.
That's amazing.
Maybe he needs a bigger yacht for his yacht.
Poor guy.
My yacht is like, you don't even have
Capitalism.
to, you don't have to worry about my yacht. It's like this like little rubber ducky, and it's amazing. My daughter loves it. Yacht. Okay. But there's an important note about that sale for Bezos. So he filed that in November, but he was eligible to sell any point before 2025. So January 2025 is when he could have sold at any point in the year, and he did it all in a month and a half. So like he did 12 million, and then the last 14 just wrapped up. That said, I mean, the stock's been under a little bit of pressure. It actually held and closed back above 167, which that was like the post sort of earnings. There we go. That was the post earnings support level. So it did a dipsy do underneath that. The selling is done. It's going into the Dow. I don't know how much that matters. It's not a bad thing that you're going into the Dow. You can't really frame that as a negative. It's not huge, but it does, leave a few extra people tracking it, I suppose. But I mean, everybody's going to be your Mag 7 name. That doesn't really matter at this point. So I like the 167 level. We're % away. We closed at that. So I like the previous close. Outside of that, it would have to get to 72 for a fade for me. I think there's so many other names that I'm shorting pops on. When they have a positive catalyst and Bezos is done his selling, I'd just look somewhere else. If there's a dip buy to be had, I do like the 167 here, but that would have to at least test yesterday's close price.
Okay, yeah, we have it written down here. It's 167. It's a pretty easy long for us. Like I said, my number one stock this month is Amazon, and it's probably not even, well, it could be close. I don't know, but it doesn't really matter. We're just going to look to print on this name again here today. If it comes, I mean, these wicks are ridiculous. It's going to be hard for me to show you, but yesterday's close 167. Now you get included into the Dow. We may have to wind up punching 170 long, so it looks like that is what's going to happen. When I wrote the sticky note down, which, by the way, it's up and pinned right now, the number one trade idea, and if you've been following the number one trades on here, then you know. But there it is. So we'll see. Heading into the Dow Jones Industrial, we're going to find out what happens now with Amazon today. It's well up. The market's trying to recover a bit. The market probably goes to VWAP or a little bit in and around that area somewhere today. So let's watch out for Amazon. I still think it takes 170, and I think it's a punch long through 170. But that's a little dangerous because the tops have been like 170, 30s, 40s, and I was just looking at it. It's like it's not a huge run through 170. So I'm thinking like if you're going to look for 50 cents, you got to play it for 50 cents. So I always look for the 50-period moving average as an out, and that will be on the 1-minute chart. So for right now, that's at 168.50. So if we were to go long now, we'd have to give this at least 40 or 50 cents. So I think you want to share size appropriately, especially if you get that break of 170. Probably give it about 50 cents worth of room. But Amazon's the number one trade idea over here on this thing, the sticky note. So we'll see where and when we can print on that. If it comes down into 167, I'm already bidding there. If it breaks 170, then we'll have to try. But again, first breaks like at 9:30, 9:31 can be pretty dangerous. So let's wait and see.
Talk cybersecurity as we saw out of the gate there. Yeah, PANW, wow, a huge, monstrous move. 25%. We're at session lows. It's worth noting if I zoom in here a little bit. As we speak this morning, coming off earnings, it was about the forecast once again.
Exactly, Brendo. Beating on the top and bottom lines, but the guide came in way lighter than the street was looking for. They guided 10.1 to 10.2 billion in revenue for the full year of 2024. The street was looking for 10.7 to 10.8, so a little light there. The CEO coming out and saying it's due to a shift in strategy with their want to accelerate growth on their platform migration, and basically saying that it's a difficult customer in 2024, so they're going to have to fight to generate this revenue.
Yeah, briefly tried to hold on to that 280 if you zoom out on the daily chart early on this morning. No luck so far, guys.
So look, One of the things they said about their guide was, we're changing our strategy a little bit. And whether you can read into that how much you want, I'm not going to pretend that I know what that means. I still like the name. And like I said, I have a stink bid. The 200-period moving average is $260. I don't know if you get there today, but I'm bidding down there in my personal account because I see this as an opportunity. It doesn't mean it has to hold that level, but it means it can hold that level. And if you like it in the long term, sometimes these are opportunities. The last time it did this was 15% down, rejecting a 260 top. Literally the next couple of days, 240s, 230s, 240s, that was your best chance to buy on the way back into the upside. 280 was support. Now all you got left is the 200-period moving average at 260. So that $5 range from 260 to 265 becomes a de facto SSR bounce for me. And every $5 from in front of those levels, I'd be looking for an SSR bounce. I'm not shorting PANW down here. 25% down. I can't see myself doing it. I have different feelings about something like a Solar Edge when they guide Solar Edge guided 175 million to 200 million for revenue when the street was expecting 400, like half. And they're not down nearly as much. But it reflects how big and strong PANW was going into this, I guess.
So I'm buying in my long-term account immediately off open. So whatever, we're going to buy some more right down here, down 25%. Obviously, they're a high-flying name. If the market and NVIDIA and the rest of that gets a little bit of a joyous feeling, I think PANW will come back. But we had Brian Shannon on yesterday, and I was telling him about the 3-day rule that we use, or that I use. And I think that down into here, feel like this should be a good little area. We'll see if it flushes even more. We'll buy a little bit back. We've been selling names at highs. You guys have been seeing, I've been pretty much bearish the last two weeks and change, talking about even selling some NVIDIA, not up at the highs, but getting out of a couple names, right? The names that we most recently bought were Google and Oracle, and we'll add some PANW to that list. You guys know we sold DraftKings and a whole bunch of other names, so let's see what happens here. We may sell some Palantir today to raise more cash in case there is, a big move to the downside again, but at the same time, I mean, I like this level right back into support. This is only where we were back in the beginning of December. So obviously it sucks to lose all of that, but if you didn't buy in here, you didn't lose anything, and they were unrealized gains. But that would have been, again, it kind of looks like NVIDIA here, where it tried to get going, couldn't break the top, and then whoosh down to the bottom. So let's just wait to see it's down 25%. To me, that's a discount. So I'll sit here and buy. I don't know what price I'm going to get, but it's going to be a buy on open. But it looks like we are getting to the downside right now. This is not a swing trade. This is definitely a longer-term play. If you don't like PANW and what they're talking about, I mean, CrowdStrike was also down, 13% or so? So now there it is, so down 11%. Was worse than that, a little bit worse, not much, down to 287 hold. So this could be another name there. If you think it's maybe PANW specific, which I don't, then you can get this name on discount as well, back to the 50-period moving average right now. So anyways, we'll have to see. Obviously, this is what happens. What goes up sometimes can come down. I mean, we panic about PANW. A name like Rivian is down like 40% since Jan 1. Rivian, more than that. There's a lot of names that have been getting absolutely killed. Stick with the high quality names that are going to be around. I like PANW, just a matter of valuation at this point.
Some Chinese names trying to bounce here. ADRs across the board to the upside, 2.8% right now, just looking at JD.com. Holding 24, holding just below 24, which is the top end of the daily range. Some moves by regulators in China when it comes to short selling and algo-related types of trading this morning. Seems to be the reason these are higher to start. I did notice that they were all up across the board over in China overnight as well.
Yeah, Brendo, the regulator there, the Chinese Securities Regulatory Commission, with their new chairman coming down aggressively on some quantitative trading firms, quants, saying that they were responsible for several sell-offs last week, especially with early trading. They're 9:30 to 9:31, saying there were irregularities around that time. They're also going ahead with more short selling restrictions, saying that they saw irregularities there as well. So we'll have to see how they do, but they're all decidedly up on the day.
This is not the first time that we've heard this from Chinese regulators, so we'll see if this time it actually makes any kind of difference as far as how they trade, but maybe short-lived, possibly, guys, today for ADRs.
Well, that remains to be seen. I mean, like at the end of the day, we've seen this gap up before. You're here to play momentum and price levels, so you let the market dictate it, but that's a place that I'm looking long. Just for like maybe 15, 20 minutes before we came on, I tweeted out solo on Alibaba. It wasn't in my note, but the gist of it was you held the 50 period yesterday. So you've actually made a little bit of a bottom here. It's like you can call it a reverse head and shoulders. I'm sure some technician will probably tell you that same thing. You know, there's the 70 level, there's your bottom at 67, and then there's the higher low at 70. Now you're above the 50 period, setting up for a potential breakout at 75. Now the 50 period sits at 73, which conveniently is also yesterday's close. So you've got yesterday's close, that 50 period moving average for a dip, and then you got a 75 break in Alibaba. I also like NEO, but this is a very patient one for NIO, and I've been saying this for a while. It is just very, very slowly, it's been consolidating down here for almost the entirety of the year and just looking for that breakout day. I don't know if the volume's there today, but I do like this one through 650 at some point. It's just going to take some kind of a catalyst. BABA tends to move every single day. NEO, I've been patiently waiting for this one to break to the upside. And I don't want to sit there anticipating it. I just want to be there if it breaks one day.
So Alibaba is going to go find on the sticky note. It's going to be a long at 72. That's what I'm going to wait for. So if we can get into 72, that's going to be great. I need to go get something. This coffee is absolutely horrible. This is like the worst coffee I've had in a very, very long time. I might have to go get a tea here, at least a water. But yeah, buying something into 72 could definitely be something down there for Alibaba. So I do have a bid there. I do like the Chinese. And I wrote it down. I mean, again, it's an idea on the sticky note. I just said the new regulation, it seems to be in favor of equities. So let's just see if it can get it going. I mean, there's nothing else we can do. We'll just wait. If it comes back into yesterday's close, $73, then we'll have a much closer look at this thing. But for now, I don't really see it as being too much of a trade there for Alibaba until we get a little bit lower. It's up 1.5%, which, yeah, I'm a little bit skeptical of it. So let's see if it falls back just a little bit. There's Fisker. I mean, we've talked about how bad Fisker's been. We've talked about how bad Rivian's going to be. And then the next story is going to be all about TDOC. So let's go find out what's good with TDOC right now, down into 16 bucks. This is going to be interesting because this is a name that I didn't really look at here. 700,000 shares. TDOC making bottoms here. Off 16 a little bit, but let's go find the story, the forecast, and what was up with that report. And then we'll see if we can hear from Miss Kathy Wood at some point today as well and figure out what she's doing. But let's go back over to the desk.
I'll be buying.
A Kathy Wood type of bid at 16 already, potentially here for TDOC, holding it up for the time being. We just had a nice little pop up there to 1630 for TDOC. Again, comes down to this, weak guidance from the company. Earnings overall kind of in line to a little bit better than expected, depending on where you're looking, but the guidance not where everyone was expecting.
Yeah, and they continue to bleed, Brendo. Down 32% in the last year is TDOC. Kathy Wood continuing to buy at advantageous opportunities. Like you said, it was almost a meet here on revenue and on earnings, but the guide comes in light. TD Cowen analysts basically saying it's a more challenging environment for TDOC in 2024 with their competitor Better Health growing and looking to take some of their market share. So a bit of a tough look for them today. Let's see how they do.
What's interesting about it is you say Kathy Wood might be buying. Well, if you're in the guessing game and you're looking at the chart of TDOC down 20%, so obviously going to be short sell restricted today. We talk about Rivian 15. And what about a 52-week low today? You got a wick down here underneath that 1550 level, but I think that's where I'd start looking at that bad boy, 1550. Maybe it is $16, as Brendan said. But what else are you going to look at for TDOC? It would almost have to, I actually sat down and when it was doing this, as I was sitting down before 7 o'clock and sort of bouncing higher, I'm like, oh, maybe there's going to be some kind of a short in the 18 range. It'll pop up and do a bounce. But now I'm thinking about that 15.5 and 15 on TDOC. So that's pretty much it. Like, I'm not sitting here, maybe it's already bounced off 16 and you can trade that at the open for an SSR bounce. That would entail it popping down a little bit, making some kind of a test, holding that pre-market support at 16, probably give it to 1590, something along those lines, and then just go for the relief rally. I don't think I'd even hold that. I'd hold a piece for past the pre-market tops and then look for maybe a $17 range, because if it gets to 18, I'm thinking short on TDOC. And the only reason it's probably holding up as well as it is that 52-week low. And if Cathie Wood is buying it, I think it'll be pretty obvious when it's an SSR name, and we should be able to see that on one of these even dollar levels. So 16, 15, 50. If those two can't hold up, maybe look for a bounce at 15. But those are all levels. When making a play like that, you're going against the grain. I'm not sitting there, average, hold past stop. No. It's like in, doesn't work, get out. If it goes to the next level, in, doesn't work, get out. If it holds, makes a higher low, there's your shot to get in, give the stop to the bottom. Like, you do not want to be, if you're taking a bounce play on a stock down over 10%, it is a bounce setup. It is not that you think the stock is necessarily going to moon off of the level. It is just a trade, and it is counter trend. And counter trend trades, you need to be very disciplined when you take them, or you can get yourself into a world of hurt. There was a couple of questions about the imbalances. Right now, there's nothing that's standing out. Outside of Palantir has a $1.3 million sell imbalance, just for everyone looking here. Nothing really on the NASDAQ that's going to stand out early. So I have Palantir, 1.3 million sell. BAC is a small sell. If we can come to my screen for a second. Can we come to my screen for a second there? Yeah, thanks. BAC is about $1 million, but nothing really yet early. There was a question about SMCI. I didn't even see SMCI on this imbalance list. So watch out for some Palantir. I did like Palantir yesterday at 23.50. I'd like it today for the 23.50 short. That was right up in here at the close yesterday. That's over $1 now, so I have to almost reassess. Like, that was a good level in yesterday's trade. I'd be looking back to like that wick bottom in here, like 22.75. But it's the only significant imbalance so far, Palantir to the sell side.
All right. Yeah, we're looking at Amazon. We got a lemon ginger up in here right now. So, and then I also there was egg. I had half of a boiled egg. There's egg.
Oh, boiled it
there.
Oh, it's like the egg.
Yeah, the boiled egg.
Not the omelet.
Yeah. Sprinkle a little salt and pepper on that, even though I didn't. All right, let's go. I just was yelling in the background. I was like, let's get this casino open and see what's going on right now. Adjust my mic. Fabian, I was hoping you could come over here. I mean, it's the same. Is it good? Is it good, my guy? All right. But anyways, we're going to be watching Amazon 167. That should be really good coming through right now. AMD probably won't be looking at that. Well, I'll be looking at it, but not right off the jump. I want to see if ARM goes back up to the upside. So where do I have my pending offers or bids, I may ask myself? Well, I have some upside on ARM. Oh, am I going to get Ramin to fix it? Oh, yeah. Check this out, Marissa. All right, here we go. There we go. Thank you so much.
Why is it tilted?
I don't know. All right. All right. So there we go. We have ARM upside right now, 120, 122. We have Alibaba with bids lower than that, in and around 72, but a little bit higher than that. Maybe watch out for 72.50. We have Rivian on the short sell right now. See, everyone's loving the chat these days. This has been a good chat this morning. People are dead on those comments. So thank you so much, Ramin. You're welcome to come back anytime. 15.95. I might just screw this mic up myself right now. All right, so 15.95, $16 top. Let's just see what's happening. There goes Rivian. I guess we should have been short before we hated on this company. There it goes, Rivian with a nice push down with only 2 minutes to go. That's going to the downside. PANW as well. No bids on this one, but we will be getting long in our own personal accounts straight off the open, so you guys know that. And then other than that, everything else I'm looking at, Amazon, Baba, ARM, we just talked about it all. And then the funny thing about it is Apple, you know, we were looking at a 182 short, but the thing is that Apple had some of that news there. I can't remember the exact story, but Brendan brought us something there with Apple about a sports, broadcasting deal or something. So anyways, I'm going to stay away from this idea for now. So Apple's probably a much better long in and around 180 than it is a short anywhere around here. So let's just wait on Apple to see what happens, but I'm not super excited about this short anymore. So I even wrote down on the sticky note on the release that we'd only give it 25 or 30 cents, and that's exactly where we're at right now. So we're going to pass on Apple, and we'll just watch out for Mr. Bezos and see if we can get an invitation on his yacht, as I noticed Brendan and Sharif were trying to sort of fish for there.
Why not?
But yeah, why not? I mean, I love to go in there.
I always tell my daughter, if you don't ask for something, you're not going to get it. And speaking of which, the new stream is up. Check that out. More Trader TV Live to get that dashboard going on the side. Tesla making a bit of a move to the upside, going into the open here. Trying to go green is Tesla. It's looking a little bit strong, and this was very strong in the afternoon. This was not on my list. I was thinking I mean, I was looking at the same thing on Rivian and Lucid as well. They report aftermarket tonight. I would be shorting pops in those two. But if this can take out 195 and hold above, interesting. But I'm not going to be there at the open. I'm still thinking shorts and pops. Oh, forgot about Affirm. Affirm 38, Affirm 40. Looking for some short pops, kind of just like yesterday. But let's bring it in 3, 2, and 1. Adara.
All right. We're going to just continue to wait for trades to hit. So right now I feel like Amazon might be the first one. So we're going to watch it out here, 168, trying to dance around a little bit. Unfortunately, these charts are a nightmare right now, but we are going to watch out for that VWAP trade back down to 168.50 right now on Amazon, but it is starting to make a move here. So ARM 1750, so not really moving around. Amazon not really moving around either, but maybe a take of the pre-market high could be something, but then that's all the way up here at 169. So we're going to have to wait for that. Here's a little bit of a pullback. Watch out for the market dipping down. Obviously, we talked about that on our sticky note that we're going to look short, but we do look Amazon long. So the shorts that we were looking for was ARM, right? Pan down through 270. Okay.
Well, no, it's not through, but it just tagged 270.
All right.
I got a bad, maybe it's
where
a
I got
bad
filled.
wick. Well, I didn't see the opening print on PANW. It's a NASDAQ stock,
Yeah.
but it looked like 75 maybe it opened up at, but it just tagged the 270
here
level
goes Amazon.
and is looking for a bounce. So that would be the first place that I'd look for an SSR bounce, is obviously that 270. It needs to make a higher low off of this. It's still screaming to the downside. Come on, and nothing's popping that we wanted the shorts in. AMD's just coming to the downside. I'm on the bid of Amazon in front of 167, but I haven't gotten hit yet. It's still at 169. So you got plenty of room here. But 270 is on the bid right now in PANW. Can it hold it and put in a higher low?
So we went long on Amazon here because I'm done waiting for these kind of trades. So right there. So we'll take a long break through 169. We only have 169.16. I mean, I don't know how far we're going to go up. We're already trying to ring some registers right now on this name as well. If we could break through 50 there, let's give this another shot. I was just like, oh, I did get filled at 55. Okay, so I got filled at 55 there. So all right. We were waiting. I only got filled at 20%. So we're waiting for a drop back into somewhere where VWAP would be, which would be 169. So that's something that we're waiting for right now, but we're already ringing the register a little bit here. We'll spin it so far, go 1 for 1 with Amazon. But hey, this is just a trade that we're waiting for to pop higher, right? We do have the target upside of 170. So here we go. We'll take out another piece here in the 77 area. So there it is. There's a nice little trade there to start off the day on Amazon. Let's put that in our pocket, right? And there it goes again. There's $1. So it's already right there looking to break through 170 is Amazon. The #1 trade on the sticky note gives us 1 for 1. And there it is right now, 75 cents, 80 cents, 90 cents, straight up to the upside right there. Good call so far on Amazon. We still like the long up here through 170.
And I don't know if it's Kathy Wood, but somebody bought 16s on PANW. Sorry, TDOC. PANW is now trying to hold 70. It hasn't put in a higher low yet, but bouncing off the 16 level. I only got it at 15s and took some out when it got to the 1-to-1. It's just an SSR bounce play. Remember, it's an earnings name, and it is down over 10%. So that's the reason for that trade. PANW is now held. There it goes. As I go into TDOC, PANW just held the 270 on the way back in. So I'm going to try and grab this off this 270 level, looking to put in a higher low on Palo Alto. So if you had the stink bids in, it hit 60. So I should be in because it went into the 60s. PANW down because of their guidance, but now making a bounce through 272 already.
All right. So it looks like this will be a fail break there on Amazon, as it doesn't really want to go through that 170. We did get some out at 170, obviously, but then we punched long and we got 170 10s there. But we'll buy a little bit on this dip back in and then try to get something out if we get back into the 90s. We do have some higher offers. The problem is it didn't necessarily go for us on that first rip. So that makes me obviously cautious here. And you never want to take a hit straight off the jump on a decent share size. So if this, here it goes, if this breaks through, we just got some out in the 90s, by the way. If this breaks through 169.50, there it is. So we'll empty out the clip a little bit there and wait. Well, now it's coming back into VWAP. So we wanted to wait for this 169. But here it is pulling back in. It's Amazon for a nice little move back now. So we'll have to watch out. Futures got excited there. Amazon did go for a run. I still think it has a run in it, but we're going to have to wait now for a higher take. Oh, there it goes. So, all right. So we got out of some there at 169. $69.50. Here comes rate blasting right back up to the upside here. Goes Amazon, so it looks like patience is going to be key. Nice pullback into VWAP. It just didn't get there for us to reload. We just wanted to take a little piece off, so let's see now what happens with Amazon. Hopefully some nice upside there. ARM not really moving around. The NASDAQ's kind of chilling, so we're going to have to wait to get better prices here so far. The market, someone just said psycho market. I mean, we're just going to have to wait to see what it wants to do.
AMD's starting to pop up a little bit here.
Okay,
so that could be, I'm on the offer of AMD in front of like the 165 to 166 area. So Palo Alto held that 270. It put in a higher low. Then there was a refresher at the 72. So I'm going 72 long, give it to the 70 level on Palo Alto. Also, TDOC, if we did that initial bounce, we were patient enough to wait for it to get down to that 16 level. It bounced once. I want to see it hold again. Just made a mini bounce off the $16 second time. Just looking for a more distinct higher low. So just a couple of SSR bounces, but the chip names are going to the upside. So you're getting, it's only 164 on AMD, but you're getting pretty darn close to that 165 level on AMD. Nothing for me yet on Intel and that 45. It's at 44, but that just plunged right away. I believe to Adara.
Nice look for Ventyx Biosciences, VTYX early today. Not seeing any news on this one, but we do have a float of about 56 million shares. 8.2% of that is going to be short float, so not insignificant short float here for VTYX, guys.
All right, I'm starting to lose. We only have one trade in here. It's not that I'm starting to lose anything. We got some Amazon out there at 08s and again at 70s or 95s, but it's not moving the way I thought it would have on this announcement for sure. I thought we had been going up a little bit more than where we are right now. Only up one and a bit. I thought that 170 was going to be a good break there, so we will take an L on that break, and it looks like it's trying to fade out even more. So again, we're going to watch out for a VWAP break back down below 169. If we break 169, then we're going to have to exit this trade. So that's another thing that we're looking at.
Baba broke out. That was on.
Yeah, Baba broke out. Yeah, we had that Baba look. So it looks like it's going to be Chinese names here, not U.S. equities. Yeah, Alibaba 75.30 right now. Too bad about that one. We had it, but too low.
Yeah, maybe there might be a dip buy or something to be able to play Alibaba. But PANW gave the first look, so I took the 72s. It popped, tried to break 74, came back in, got some out there at 73.5. Now looking for a break of the high. This is just a pure SSR bounce play, and I want the 280 level. I always think targets in terms of this. That was a major sell zone at about 8 o'clock. You can see it reject the 280, so I want to get out in front of it. We're going to hold for that. Going to move my stop up once 275 is broken so that we can lock in more profit. TDOC, however, does not hold on to the 16 level. So I got some out on the way up in front of 1630 and then out at 16. So you win on the first half, you lose in the second half. It basically works out to a flat trade. But PANW, a couple of bucks in the money now. But I'm looking at these chips continuing to go higher. And of course, Alibaba on that breakout. There's always the chance when you have a break at 75 that it does a dip back into that same 75 level. So I want to look for this to give us an entry back at the price that we would have wanted. But hey, PANW's working, but should have had that order out there. I didn't want breakouts sitting there in the order book at 9:30. That was the decision. Obviously, it would have worked out in Bob if you did it.
Dubs 273. Oh yeah, I wonder where I got filled. I'll have to check that out. All right, so we have a new position right now. Let's go here and just go like this, and then we'll say ARM. So we're short ARM right now at 120. This is a trade that we've wanted. We talked about this. If we could take a penny. If we could take $1 on this, that'd be good. So we'll bid some 119s. There it is right now. It's now in the money for us, 55 cents and counting, as we're short at 85s. Let's see if ARM can make a move down. I'm bidding 119. We just need a flush in on this, and that'll be all good for that trade. We do have a reloaded trade here on Amazon. So, no apologies on this one. We got to get some out as we're starting to rip back up to the upside here on Amazon. We were buying those dips into VWAP. You could see that. Now let's try to hold on, because when it rips, we never ever have enough, and then we wonder why we don't. And it's because we get out. So right here, here's a nice move back. Here we go for Amazon finally, trying to pay out a little bit here. So we'll try that. Maybe we'll get a piece out on ARM in the 50s if we have to. Let's just put a bid there for ARM in the 50s. Get a piece out. I'm going to cancel that 119 flat fill there. And then I'm just honestly, guys, I have I have a decent size here. So let's watch out for Amazon as it's trying to go back upside. If this breaks 170 and runs, then we'll definitely be having a decent start here. So let's see what happens with Amazon. That's my only play. And then the other one I wanted to look at was, honestly, I don't know, you're only in Pan.
AMD's not really.
Was Rivian.
It's trying to go.
Ooh, Rivian's trying too. All right, I'm going to rethink about this Rivian trade because I'm really favoring the long here in Amazon. So let's just settle down a little bit. I will take this Rivian trade, but I really want to see Amazon work because this is my whole day right here.
So a couple of things there. TDOC has reclaimed the 16 level. I did get in and out of it. It's just wick to 16. If it puts in a higher low off that, I really don't mind going over to that name. But BABA doesn't want to let us in at that 75 level. It's holding 75.5. I'm already seeing a dip in AMD. I'm going to cancel in front of that 166 and waiting for 165 and look to the pre-market. The post-market bottom and the afternoon bottom, 164.5, and work the short off there. I'm looking to short pops and chip names, so we're going to go back over to that well. But wow, it is absolutely flying on Alibaba. And when the programs are on,
yeah,
and when they turn the programs on, you generally want to find a way in. VWAP sits at 75. That's a bit of a coincidence this early in the day. It feels like a first available dip. Take a shot with a relatively tight stop. On that one. And just a couple of notes. I know we're going to go to Adara in a quick little second. We mentioned Rivian. I did not mention Lucid. It rejected 380 yesterday. I'd be right back there if it pops to the upside. Not really going yet. Adara?
Yeah, it's coming out here. Just keep an eye on Rumble, RUM, the SEC. And it's good that they have closed the investigation against Rumble. They never really specified what this investigation was about, but in a note to Rumble yesterday, they said it has been closed, not taking any action at this time, though more action could come at some point. This is being reported by Just the News, so just keep an eye out for RUM. About a 5% short float for this name, guys.
All right, we're watching out for Amazon here. We did get a whole bunch out there at one. I mean, all these charts. I keep zooming back out to look at other names.
Yeah, I know.
But there it is right there. So a bunch of outs at 170 as we pull back in. We talked about this a little bit as well. We did take a shot on Rivian, but it's not going to be a big one. It's going to the upside right now, and I would rather... I mean, first of all, I got to monitor Amazon, that's for sure. But then I would rather monitor this up near 1610, and so that's anyways just a little bit of a take there on Rivian. We're back long into Amazon, but it's coming back in pretty decently right now. So be careful with these Amazon longs. It doesn't seem to want to go upside right now. This market, I don't know what it wants to do, but for right now, we got to be very, very careful with this Amazon position. We just got some more down there.
Yeah, so break even just hit on PANW. He said the second it got to 275, I'm going to move my stop up and give it to break even. I was giving it to 70 before, but I wasn't going to let it pull back to $5. It actually broke 70, so it would have held it like $2 against me before the bounce. So I'm out of it, making sure that we locked in the profits. So it ends up getting just under $2 of the win, but I want to look for another SSR bounce, and it's setting up like it's TeleDoc again. So I'm patient. If you put in higher lows, I do still like these. But watching TeleDoc, it's now holding the 16 level. I'm looking for an entry off that 16, maybe get those teens again and give it back into the 16 level. SSR bounce can happen anytime. These are depressed names on earnings, as everybody obviously knows at this point. I don't know if Aunt Kathy's buying, but if she is, then I want to be involved. Alibaba's still absolutely, like it's 76 now on Alibaba. It's gone, man. I like the 75 break, but I didn't want to have the order in at the open. No question about it. But Alibaba's absolutely gonzo now.
Yeah, we love, and that was another, actually, remember I said the recent names that we bought? We bought Alibaba at 72. We bought PANW this morning. That's to be determined, I guess. Wow, good move on Alibaba. Look what we just did, by the way. Bang, 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 bang. Right there on Rivian. We just own that stock right there. Nice move, Rivian. Thank you so much for coming out again. You went right to our sticky note level and we shorted you and you paid off. So there it is right there, man. It's not PANW. Good trade on PANW, but this is Rivian right now and it's a joy. So we're going to have to watch out for that. What's not working out, although we just ripped up again on Amazon, was Amazon. We just got out 76s, 85s. Look what's happening now, though. We are starting to break a little bit lower. I'm going to take some more out here in the 30s if we can. I mean, same way. Get some out on the upside when it rips. Get some out on the downside when it goes down there. de-risk a little bit here on Amazon because honestly, man, we're 70 cents in the money right now. So let's go on this one. We'll see if we can get ARM. ARM's almost $1 in the money right now. As there it is. See ya 119 on ARM. Let's see how low we can get on that one right now. We're crushing now. We're crushing. We've got ARM. We've got Rivian to the short side. Rivian's really starting to go. We just got an 88 fill there on Rivian. ARM is trying. It's trying. Let's go. And then what's trying to get upside, we just got some more out there at 45 was Amazon. So man, I'm a busy guy this morning, and I'm happy to do that. So thank you so much to everybody. Good job there, Elon. You also bought Alibaba down there. We bought some at 72, guys. We talked about why we like that level. And again, I come on here and tell you the same day. Like I was telling you guys before, I bought PANW at open. We'll own it, and we'll figure that out. We were telling you we'll be buying Palantir, $15, $16. We told you that we bought Alibaba at 72. It actually went against us. So we'll have to wait to see what happens there. But I'm going to start to get out of more Rivian, again, with earnings here. That was a good move. It was making me a little bit nervous. We'll get some more out on Rivian as there it goes. We're waiting for ARM to really extend to the downside. What's up, A?
Kind of an interesting one here. So a little bit of update from the small cap I mentioned earlier, Ventyx Biosciences. This one just gapped to the upside, but also worth noting here, this is unconfirmed right now, but basically one of their inflammatory drugs, so not intended for weight loss, is basically, according to one publication, not yet confirmed, showing very similar weight loss to what we initially saw with these GLP-1 drugs when they were just for the treatment of diabetes. So basically, long story short, this drug showing some weight loss potential could be apparently the next big weight loss drug, according to some people. So this could be what's moving this VTYX to the upside, about 8% short flow for this one, guys.
I just heard some ODB, I swear, on somebody's ringtone just now. Ooh, baby, I like it raw. But I also like dips into previous breakout prices. Alibaba's saying, no, you're not getting it. You know what Alibaba's saying. Watch out for TeleDoc. TeleDoc can't hold that 16 level. PANW worked off of that 270 hold, but TeleDoc does not hold 16s. But the breakout was this morning at the 169 this morning, 15 minutes ago at the 169. It just held, and this is Amazon, 169.11s. So it bounced off that a second time, and I jumped out in front of it. If it cannot hold 169, I will get out of Dodge. I'm into Lucid now because they also report aftermarket. I know we mentioned Rivian. I think we mentioned Lucid as well. But I like this name off of the aftermarket highs in yesterday's trade. But I got to get over to TeleDoc, quickly show you. It does not want to hold on to the 16. I'm not holding it past getting in, taking profit if we can get that initial push at 1-to-1. But when it breaks 16, I'm just jumping out of it. Do not want to be fighting the stock too much. If you can only take the stairs down and don't get the price you want, then that's what you got to do. And now lower highs getting put in here on Intel, which means I'm shorting VWAP. I'm not going to see 45 today. So the 44 level and VWAP is going to have to be it back into the pre-market lows is where I would take this.
All right, we're just watching Amazon here. If it breaks lower, it breaks lower, guys. I mean, we've got Rivian. Rivian's starting to tank down a little bit here. ARM is still hovering in and around. But here we go. Here comes 169 coming in. So, yeah, watch out. Here goes Amazon to the downside. That kind of sucks. This is obviously, we're not going to, we'll wind up being down and we'll wind up losing on it, especially because it's breaking right now. But, yeah, bad move to the upside there for Amazon as it didn't hold. The market's at lows right now, at day's low. So, you try to fight these big names, and sometimes this is what can happen to you when you try to fight the market. And I fought the market, and the market won. Temporarily. I'm not out yet. We'll see. Let's take a little bit of a relief rally now. Let's go, Amazon. All right, come on, ammo. Right now, we'll see if we can get this a little bit more out right now on this name. So that's good. We just took advantage of that. It just went to the upside there. We saved ourselves about 20 cents right there with Trust Me, for me it matters. There it is. Let's go. 20 cents. There comes back up to the upside. We'll just see if Amazon held that level. But yeah, pretty good to have held. We never get out right at 169 breaks. So that was a key level. We gave it a little bit of pennies. It looks like it worked out just for a little bit. It seems like it wants to break. Oops, sorry, that's ARM. Looks like it does want to break back down through 169 right now. So I didn't get out anything on the break lower, but it darn well came pretty close to that. Let's see if we can get back up to the upside right now. ARM is what I was just looking at. It doesn't seem like it wants to break lower right now through 119. If it does, man, flood doors open up, please, pronto. And then Rivian's right at the 50 period. weird. I didn't even notice that. So let's put a bid here on Rivian and see if we can get some out now. I might even have to punch some 89s here to get out of Rivian, but that's a good trade for me. Rivian's a good one, man. ARM's been great. Amazon has been not great. So
Tesla, by the way, just because, I mean, I'm in Lucid right now. It's got a couple cents against, but Tesla is at 198 hunting for $200. So I have my eyeballs on this. If it does fail at 200 and it makes a curl, even right here at 98, I'm adding to a Lucid short. But I'm going to watch Tesla as a little bit of a futures trade for me. I did jump out because I was catching it on the way down of AMD, and that's the difference. Like, it actually, you can see it down. On the way down, it then wicked to 69. I just jumped right back in, same price, same stop. So essentially, it'll amount to the same thing, but I like to see this at least get back into VWAP before we take. I want to take some profit halfway, but I do think this is still up 1% and trying to put in a higher low off a breakout price when the market, this is a NASDAQ, everybody, the market just hung on to yesterday's low with a bit of a bounce. That would be the spot. That's the spot for the longs to work. If you're in Alibaba, all I can say is, if you're short Alibaba right now, you should always have an out in your trade. That's about it. Like this, if you shorted 76, it actually gave you a scalp trade, but it's at 76. It got to 76.37 as well. So it's absolutely flying to the upside. Should have had it, but I didn't favor breakouts at 9:30, so didn't have the order in there. So watching Tesla in that $200 level. If it comes in and rejects, then I'm going to look to add to some Lucid off of yesterday's tops. Sorry, it's not really yesterday's highs. It's the afternoon high. I shouldn't say that. Yesterday's high was like 380.
guys, we got, if you are looking for some trade ideas, obviously we have the watch list, but then right here we have Alibaba written long. We said we love the bottom here, but again, 72 bucks, never got even close to that. So watch out. We just got a 34 fill on Amazon. So hell yeah to that one. 34 fill on Amazon. So I'm just trying to get this out. It has not been right. We do not need to trade names that we're not feeling. So Amazon right now is going to probably come out, but we just got a heck of a lot out up there. We got some 20s. It went right back to VWAP, creating winning trades. We actually haven't. The only loss that we've had, unfortunately, and it's a big one, is that first initial break down lower. So that was a bad one for us. When it broke above 170 there, we took the long. We were long early and made 70, 80 cents, but then it broke higher, and that's really what sent us stumbling a little bit right now. So, yeah, no surprise there for me on Alibaba, man. I mean, we bought this name, and the reason why I bought it was, and I keep saying it to you on the sticky notes, was it was a good quarter, and the fact is, if China can ever get there, you know what, right, then, I think Alibaba is due for a move higher, way, way higher. This is a big holding in a lot of big investors' portfolios. There has to be some sort of a reason for that. So we're going to watch out for Alibaba moving forward. I like the position I'm in on that one. I think it can work. It's Alibaba moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan, so I'm not going to wax too poetic about it as well. I've taken three shots in the last few years, but it's definitely looking like a good one. This market is now retesting some of those lows, and the quarters just keep holding on Intel. I'm waiting, on Amazon. Tesla's making a little bit of a curl, so I jumped out of Lucid on that break of 70, but Tesla's starting to show a bit of a top. I'm looking to re-enter that trade when Tesla starts to calm itself down because the market's retesting those bottoms. Adara?
Emergent Biosolutions, EBS here, running up with strong volume, up about 34% right now. Then interim CEO, he has now been replaced with their new full CEO, Joseph Papa, former CEO of Bausch & Lomb. So nice pedigree here. EBS, also worth noting here that this one has a short float of about 20%, share float of about 50 million shares. So that short float not insignificant here, guys.
Oh, man. Amazon is really working now. Finally. Okay, nice move up here for Amazon. So we're doing pretty well right now as it goes. I'm being an idiot again because I was not paying attention to ARM. So we had $2 in the money on ARM there, and I was just worried about Amazon and worried about Rivian and wasn't even looking at ARM. It went right down to the 200 period. That is just so bad of me not to take that out. So we're going to have to put another order in and around there. Let's go a little bit better than that because I feel that we've missed that trade. And anybody that was on it, I know a lot of you guys follow, but that should have been an out. So that's my bad. I should have been screaming about that. But right now, there it is. Amazon, I mean, I can't everyone's responsible to trade their own books, of course. So there goes Amazon. You know, again, huge trade. My only, you know, longs today that we really liked was Amazon and Alibaba, both printing. But for right now, we're just gonna have to continue to watch out to see what happens with Amazon. Back up to 170, man. This is a good trade. I'm gonna get a piece out in the 80s, hold the rest for 99, and then see if we can break again through. So that's the level that I'm looking at here for Amazon. Let's just see if it can work. It's been cooking so far the last 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, once it, oh, I got these bad wicks.
Oh, look at ARM. Damn it.
170, when you put in that lower high, to me, it's a breakout. It already showed the 170. When it curled just now, I get out in front of that. That's just going to be the strategy. I did a similar thing with PANW. But I got the eye. Okay, here we go. I'm going to get to Lucid. I want to get back into that Lucid trade. I said the second I saw a bit of a curl, I was going to look for the re-entry into Lucid. So I just got the order out there before I put in the level 2 because I wanted to make sure we can get this one. I'm offering a midpoint. Just so you guys know, I'm offering like right in here at the halves. I'm going to add to this one as Tesla is again rejecting 198. Maybe he gets to 200, but right now it's rejecting the 198. I wanted to get back into Lucid off that high, got in on the way up. Now I'm looking to get in on the way down. So if Amazon comes back to 169 and holds again, I think I would just take that same trade. TDOC's doing a dance at 16, but it's not really, it's not as appealing. I now want to see that hold a little bit stronger than it is. Like there's too much selling underneath 16 every time it gets there, so I won't take a third shot at it just yet. BABA is pulling back for the first time. This is the first real pullback, so let's see what happens in and around VWAP. If it shows some kind of pep in its step, I'll look for a bit of a bouncer. Futures have held the lows. You can probably look for some longs, but it's got to be in something strong. Otherwise, I still want to short some pops, especially in the chip names. Intel hasn't given me VWAP yet, but I think it has a good chance to. It's made a nice little bottom here at 43.80. If I can get it above 44 into VWAP, I'm looking for the short in Intel still. And AMD, although it hasn't gotten there.
These starting to come up? Okay, good. Yeah, we still made that super mistake on ARM. We'll have to pay for that at some point. But you know what we're not paying for? I mean, we have Rivian short here at 16. We just got some fills in the 80s right there, including 88s again, one at 90. Now we're going to hold. If we can get the 200 on this, then we'll be laughing and pretty happy with that. So hopefully that can come in. I am going to take another piece out here. We did get similar outs upside there on Amazon, but again, we're trying to hold for a little bit more, so we'll see if that can work. We'll just take another piece, though, right here on a nice move because it just went back into 169.40. Let's check out NVIDIA on earnings day. Guys, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and join me tonight when we'll be going over all of this here when we have Amazon earnings and we have the best guests, the best everything coming through for you there on tonight's recap show where we will have NVIDIA earnings. Nice little move to the back end here on NVIDIA, down to 678 now. As Neil mentioned there with AMD trying to go back up to the upside. We're watching out for this. Okay, by the way, you know, I have to keep getting out of this. Like every kind of a pop-up, like I said, I'm going to keep on working this trade. So if Amazon can get up one more time, we're in the 80s, then we're at 99, and we're at 83. If we can get spikes up into those levels, then that'll be pretty good. Let's see what happens here with Amazon. I still really like the story. I like the story long, and I want to be here for it. Once again, there's 119. Like, do we just going to be taking, like, honestly, 75 cents or something on this? Like, ARM, we just got another fill up here at the day's high. We're going to have to watch out for this breaking, man. If the chip names are going to get going, watch out for 122 almost immediately. We're waiting at 121.50 now for ARM. Watch out for a 122 break higher.
Speaking of that, well, AMD just came in. Like, as you were saying, AMD retested the highs.
All right.
So it went 162 to 164, and then 162 to 164 again. This time I did grab the short just as it was breaking, 164.11. I can't even get VWAP on Intel for a short, and this is going right back into the high. So there is some strength here in AMD. VWAP actually now sitting in 163.25. So I want to make sure I want to get some out in the bid in front of it. Got to take some profit. You're screaming to the upside here, and NVIDIA is not. Like, NVIDIA is down, putting in lower highs, which is, I'd say NVIDIA is asleep compared to the other chip names that I'm looking at. We're putting in some lower highs on NVIDIA, so it's a bit of a different trade here on AMD, but that's just for now. Want to see it hold that top. If it breaks the high, I'm just going to get out of it, look for the next trade. Palo Alto, by the way, It's still trying to put in a higher low. The first bounce was good. It's looking a little bit more stable now, maybe working off the high 260s is what would look like a good entry point, but it's going to retest it any second now. There was a nice bounce on the futures, just couldn't hold above VWAP, so I'm still thinking short the pops in what we could get it in. Just can't, until I want short, I can't even get it. We like the, Affirm. Affirm, like the short to 38. Can't get it. This isn't even moving at this point. It's just kind of slowly sliding to the downside. And Tesla, which is leading some of these EV names higher, that's now pulled back off the 198 level. So I'm jumping into this Lucid off the 375 now, looking at that pullback in Tesla. But AMD was a new position alert. I'm still trying to get Intel short. I think that's a weaker name, but a weaker name means that you might not get the prices you want when looking to short near some of the tops.
All right. We're not really battling with anything yet. What the? Okay, so Rivian, we're out. There it is, man. That's Rivian. So we're out. Actually, we got to fill at 80. Okay. We'll take it. So we are now out of Rivian. That was a great trade. Going to be my number one stock today is going to be Rivian. So there it is. We've only traded 3 names, of course. Amazon, we've talked about that still being underneath here. We need to get above 170 for this name to really just start screaming for us. So we're going to wait for that one. Rivian's been an absolute monster. I cannot believe, and we talked about that 1610 and we got it. We got 1608s right there. So a nice move back in for Rivian. And now we just wait, as Neil was mentioning, we're only out $1 here on ARM, but it's coming right back up to that 122. So watch out, man. Let's give this to like 122.50 or so. But right now, ARM is testing these high levels right now. I guess people are getting excited once again for NVIDIA. But this will be one that, hey, we're willing to do it. This is, we had missed that 118. That was pretty bad. We talked about it. We're still not in very many shares, but, we know the way this name could move. So we're going to have to risk on this name. We said we were going to get out about $2. It's literally what we wrote down. So this is well in the plan for us right now. Obviously, we'd like it to tank off these levels, but let's go over to Adara at the desk and see what she's up to.
Lots of excitement in this market today. Currently to the downside, about 0.3% for the SPY. This is the daily chart here. But we do have NVIDIA earnings coming up right after market close. We also have the FOMC minutes coming out at 2 p.m. today, so stay tuned for that. We'll have those for you right at 2 p.m. Continuing NVIDIA earnings, of course, we also have Rivian and Lucid, so some EV earnings coming out tonight as well. Bit of a nice little bump from earnings seasons today coming in right after market close. So stay tuned for that. Lots to keep an eye on. Also worth noting, PANW, another earnings name here, very much to the downside after its Q3 revenue and EPS projections came in lower than expected here. We also have NEO, one of the many Chinese ADRs, seeing a bit of upside amid some sanctions in China to try to buoy its stock market. Last but not least here, SolarEdge, another earnings name struggling here. We had lower or less of a loss per share than expected, and but a sales miss here and much lower than expected Q1 revenue projection. So very much to the downside for SEDG.
AMZN.
Come on, get down.
Okay.
Oh, just maybe. I think I just looked a gift horse in the mouth at the same exit point on AMD. AMD it's looking pretty strong, relatively speaking. I just had it a reload above the 164 again, and it was looking for 163.50. It ends up bouncing off the 60 level, so if it gets down there again, I'm going to take some profit out. You're definitely seeing a strong push up in some of the chips, not all, and I did say there was a name that if it could hold the $80 level, and that was Micron, I like, but Micron failed an 81 break early. And it's not starting to come back in, but it did hold 80. I did say I like this stock above 80. I don't want to be chasing it up there, but AMD's starting to break back higher. We'll see if we can get back into it again. One more for you, just to double check, because we mentioned Palantir, and I said I'm not going to get 23.50, so I'd look for a lower high to play off of. That would be 23, but patience might be the way to go here. Market is stepping up. This is putting in higher lows. I'm going to back off to the 23.50 because I got 2 shorts in the market going to the upside and do not have any longs after getting out of that Palo Alto.
Yeah, same thing here. I just got some more out on Amazon right now. because it went into the 60s again. So let's watch out for that one. We obviously have to slap a fail. We're going to get out if it breaks through. Well, I mean, we just got some more right now. Where's my fail button? There it is right now, because although we could be getting out of this arm, we're short at 122.60. We did take a hit there, breaking through 122.50, and we got 122.65s or 61s or something there. So it wasn't a horrible break. Now, I mean, we're all the way up right now. That's 123.30, 124 maybe as a top there. We'll hold on to a little bit of a short in case we fade back off that 123. But yeah, some of these names really, I mean, it doesn't look like it wants to go down. So I'm 123.25 just to make sure. Yeah, I'm out 123.25. NVIDIA's making a move back. So if you are a little bit under on NVIDIA at some point, here's a nice move back up. So if you've been playing those longs all day, you obviously got trapped up there early. We talked about sort of those levels. And then 690, that was a great run early. Then it moved down. So now you're really starting to get some relief up here for NVIDIA. So that's a good one there. ARM Holdings popping, but so is this name right now. Amazon's really going. I'm going to cancel my 99s and just take something out here at 80s. We just missed that 86, but we did get, like I said, a 65 there or something. Let's see if we can get a little bit higher here in Amazon as the market is really starting to go through now to the high side. So nice patience for anybody that was waiting for the long. Looks like it's trying to pay out just a little bit here as the market, again, we touch pre-market, we dance around, now we're going to this high side again. So yeah, it's been a scalper's market a little bit to say the least here today, especially on the names that I'm looking at.
I agree.
Yeah, Rivian is just continuously going to the downside right there. So that's gonna be a good sticky no call that we probably should have held on to right now. ARM trying to go back down to the downside. Was that a call? All right, Adara?
Not seeing any news on this one really right now, but BIRK, Birkenstock, getting a bit of a push to the upside here. Not a ton of volume here, about 5.5% though to the upside. Worth noting as well, I did see something they were releasing a new sandal model this week, so that could potentially be something worth keeping in mind. Also worth noting, float for this is going to be about 24.9 million shares, 3% short float. BIRK, if I see anything else, I will let everyone know.
Yeah, that's a really small float for
Down.
Birkenstock. I'm looking for like VWAP on bobbles coming in here, but we got out of AMD. We'll slap a fail. I said I was possibly looking at a gift horse in the mouth when that last push down, looking for a bust of VWAP, but it took out the high. I jump out of it. We'll wait for the next key level. Could be the 65. It's already put in one top there. We'll see if we can put in another, but my concentration is also back over to Intel. Again, this stock can't even get the VWAP on market pushes. Market at highs, breaking highs. This is underneath VWAP. So I'm going to matriculate into this one. Sharif. That was for you, Sharif. Actually, that's not even a reasonable thing to say, but yeah, I'm going to start getting into this off of VWAP. Doesn't matter if it's accurate. I wanted to use the school word there. But lower highs, under VWAP, down 1% as I'm staring at AMD breaking tops, market testing pre-market highs. Just try to short a weak name instead. And that's what I'm seeing over there in Intel. And that's probably what should have gone to this one a little bit earlier. But I got it off 44. Ideally, I could get some overfills like 40, 44.05, 44.10 would be a little bit better. But time to start looking at a weaker name here, such as an Intel. Palantir, I'll play that one by ear a little bit. And Tesla, we talked about this one challenging 200. We might get there. I mean, it's slowly grinding to that $200 level. It got to 199.44. The next push, if it breaks another high, I think would take it to that even 200, which is just a psychological level. But if I see it dip off that, I'm going to add to Lucid as long as it's underneath that 75.
All right, I guess we should have done better math and kept on some of those Rivians right there. Fabian's offering all these suites over here to Neil.
Appreciate you.
Okay, yeah, so I appreciate you, Fabian. Thanks for the offer. All right, 122.97. Let's just figure this out. What's going on to the downside now? As we just got some more out on ARM, so it's $1 in the money now. We can, like we said, we lost about $1.50 there. I'm still waiting for 120.50. I mean, this is where my bid is. Actually, it's at 119. I'm gonna put another bid at 120.50 there. we'll see if we can get that going through. Amazon, we've been sort of emptying the clip a little bit here on this name. We will take another long if it does come back in, but Amazon's not looking healthy right now. So I'm kind of second guessing some of these longs. I mean, the pullback into the 50 period would be nice, and that's what we're doing right now. So then you got the 200 down here at 168.60 and these bottoms at 169 and change. So let's just wait for that. Here we go again. Here comes ARM. Let's see how far down we can get this name. We're now $1.40 in the money on ARM, looking to get a little bit lower, especially if this market wants to get to the downside. So it's ARM. It's making a move a little bit lower now. So we'll see if that can get in. Yeah, nothing wrong with not making a trade there, Brandon Woodward. You know,
nothing wrong with patience.
We're going to, nothing wrong with patience, guys, as we go. So we'll wait to see here. I'm trying to have some more patience in Amazon, but I'm trying to lose it. Let's wait to see what happens here with ARM. Amazon pulling all the way back. But that's why we kept, look at all these outs we have up here. 75s. These are all like north of 75 on the upside. But here comes Amazon puking in right back down to 169 again.
I had a coach that once said, "See ball, hit ball." You know, and if you're not seeing it, if it's not in your zone, then you don't have to swing. Until you get to two strikes in baseball, you don't really have to protect. And in the market, you don't even have that. There's no strikeout. Like, you can actually just wait for the perfect setup. If it doesn't come, it doesn't come. But the difference between a strong stock and a weak stock, Intel, as the market was taking the highs, it was making lower highs. It was not the short entry that I wanted, but it showed VWAP in 44. I got in. It's right to the low of the day immediately. I'm looking out in front of yesterday's bottom. So zooming it out so you can see the 43.5 from yesterday. So jump over to this, and it's just, the trend is your friend almost always. It's not a guarantee that you join a trend it's going to work, but there's a lower high. There's the second lower high off the 44 level. I'm going to reload it if it gets anywhere near VWAP. And I got the 43.50 looking for that 1 point. We're ringing the register on that one. Got to find, okay, Alibaba's trying to bounce off VWAP now. And there goes Tesla off that 199, failing a little bit here. So I said I would add to Lucid if that happens. I'm just going to jump on the offer of Lucid. Amazon just popped in for me. That was the other thing I was about to go to before Lucid sort of distracted me. Right back into the 169 level. I just got 03s. Let's look for VWAP in 170 again. Just a similar setup to last time. Oh, I got a bad wick. There we go.
Yeah, we got the 170s as well. There's some activist information here on Foot Locker. We'll see where that can go. Come on, Amazon, honestly. Let's go.
That's good.
Yeah, it should be good for Foot Locker. All right, this is trying to bounce off of 121.50 right here. Like I said, we've got a decent amount of shares, but let's just see if ARM really wants to give it up or not, honestly. But here we go, Amazon. So let's go. You guys always hear us talk about, you know, different styles of trading. Well, we're probably going to have one right now. I'm scalping out of Amazon. I have enough shares. We're going to try to get out of Amazon here. I'm not in love with this. I'm surprised it's not breaking through that 170. It's been a much better short than it's been a long. But it's either way, it's been range bound. So, you know, we'll scalp this out as it goes and still keep some of this money in our pocket. We are also very aware right now that ARM bounced again off 121.50, and here it comes right back up to the upside. So I guess we're kind of just doing a little bit of a dance here on ARM because AMD, wow, AMD's at 160, man. We've been trying to short that one for a very, very long time, guys. This call has been at 180 forever. So if you guys still have puts up there, congratulations, man. That's a great, great look by you. So, all right, we'll just continue to trade, man. We're long Amazon, and we are short on ARM. And then maybe looking at Apple was the other trade idea that we had. Nice move upside for Apple, really trying to base out up here at 183. So, yeah, a couple different things happening right now. I'm just going to focus on ARM because if that takes out 123.50, then we're out of that one. And we just did not get out when we had $1.50 in the money. So, not great there for me on ARM.
It was just a bounce into like the 30s on Amazon. I don't know what Sean already mentioned it. So I took some out like last time off those quarters. I'm right back on the bid, see if we can't get it a third time. I mentioned I like that Intel, but Lucid could not hold on. Took out the highs again right when Tesla was curling, so I'll jump out of that one. We'll slap the fail on Lucid. It'll end up being the worst one this morning because I went to it like 3 separate times. Thankfully, we're going to keep it relatively in the pocket. So it'll be half of, you know, you got to keep it in the pocket relative to like PANW or some of the other ones you'll have. We've about half of a PANW to go wrong in this 3 times. That said, I still think there's some weakness that can be had in these chips when we fail the highs. You're at VWAP right in here on NVIDIA, so I'm still thinking, where can I reload Intel? And if I don't get a shot at 44, there might be a lower high in coming in, maybe like the 43.8 level. Amazon's struggling to hold on again, so this one might actually be giving it up. I can't seem to hold on. I gave it more room than last time. Last time I had my stop at 95. This time I put it at 75, but Amazon can't seem to hold on. The market wicked the top. It's not nearly as strong as I would like at that 69 level, and the level I like after that is 67. That's a $2 range. Gotta let it get into that secondary portion of the range. I would love to find some other shorts, but Intel's like the weakest thing that I can see. And jumping into that at another level is going to be a bit of a priority. Alibaba is bouncing off of VWAP. This is just a dark pool wick. Alibaba held VWAP. That's why I'm actually looking to add to it here. Up 3.5%. Clearly, it's a strong name. I don't have to tell you guys that above the 50 period, above the 75. We didn't really talk targets with this as we're dealing with shorts that didn't work out. 78. I mean, this is the only resistance on the chart at the daily at 78. Doesn't mean you get to $78, but it does mean I think the stairs up to the high of the day. Try to look for higher lows if there's going to be strength in this market. It's firmly in some of these Chinese ADRs, at least in this one.
Yeah, we really like that Alibaba trade. It's too bad we don't still have that Rivian. We will. Obviously, Amazon broke, which is why we got out. So there it goes, breaking through 169. We called this super weak. And just, it's not that it's super weak against the market, because it's not. It's just, it was not trading well. When the market was up at highs, Amazon was not at highs. So that's part of the magic. Here. All right, so 121, here we come again. This time we're going to take a 121.60 fill. So if it does fall back in, we'll make $1 on ARM, and then we'll go from there. So again, let's see where ARM goes. Hopefully it can fall back in. We've lost, our whole day is losing on Amazon. Losing on ARM, we haven't really lost anything on ARM. We had one trade there where we got stopped out short, but then we made, like that was losing $1.50, but we already took a third out there. We talked about that, and then we wanted to average in into 122. So that was a bigger fill there at 50. Then we took one at 80s or whatever, and then the blast out higher at 122.50 was really the cause for concern. So now, if this does break above 123, then we'll have probably like equal losses on Amazon that we do have on not a friend of mine, Amazon today in ARM. So we'll have to watch out for those two. Rivian's been an absolute monster right now again. And a big congrats to Yannick behind us leading the way today. So congrats on Yannick right there for that one. It's always nice to see, the guys behind us putting up some numbers. So that's really nice to see. All right, so that's Rivian. Nice downside push there. We'll wait for ARM. Hopefully that can come in. Breaking back down below would be real nice if we can get something like that. So that's what we're waiting for right now on ARM. And we're bidding 121.60s, although we've stopped the last couple times at 90s. So let's figure that out and look at it from there, man. So that's what it is. I'll try to find some more names for everybody. Maybe a bank.
I haven't looked at the banks, but guess what's taking out VWAP right now? Don't wake up NVIDIA on a day like today. It's NVIDIA earnings. I gotta watch this, because if I'm looking for a reload in Intel under VWAP, if this starts breaking out, you can pretty much guarantee it's going to start dragging a few names with it. AMD, Intel maybe, but Micron, now you're starting to look a little bit stronger. It was a failed breakout at 81. I said in the afternoon show this was relatively strong, and today I wanted to see it hold the 80 level. It failed an 81 break. Then there's the 80 hold. This is probably your only chance to have gotten in, but I was looking elsewhere, actually Alibaba at the time. I'm going to like some VWAP here. I want a shot back into this 80-30 level on Micron. So we said in the afternoon yesterday I would look for strength in this name off of yesterday's levels, and that's pretty much what you're getting here. So bigger picture, there's room to 82. If we're going to start breaking out, I wanted a stock where I like the levels and I'm pretty comfortable with, and we already traded this one in yesterday's trade. Tesla bouncing down into VWAP. I don't know if it bounces off VWAP, but I got one VWAP bounce play, and for now, that is Alibaba. You mentioned Apple. I'll give you another name that we haven't talked about, Microsoft. So I'm going to cancel. I actually had an offer of Microsoft at 404, and I was like, yeah, it's not going to get in there, and forgot to cancel it. Doesn't matter, it's at 400. Right at 400, speaking of levels, it's wicked yesterday's low at 398. If this can hold a 400 bid, that 404, which is resistance to support, or support to resistance, I should say, that's an obvious spot to look for the short to me. It was yesterday's top at the open. If it holds 400 on Microsoft and this market wants to try to get to green, which it's not, I think the 404 level is going to be obvious. It gets $1 green at that point, and I'd be looking for a curl. But the market's waking up. I like BABA off of VWAP in here, but it's got to hold. You also have Thursdays. Check that. You also have last week Friday's top to work off of here for Alibaba. Thursday was the last day I was trading, but Friday's high on Alibaba for some support potentially as well.
All right, so we got some out there on ARM down near 122. Actually, we got 122.04s, whatever it was. So yeah, 04. Yeah, so we got 122.04. So we just took another dollar right there on that name. Again, off of this short. So we've lost. We talked about that loss already. We're red on ARM right now, but we've gotten out of half now for $1 the other way down. So hopefully that will continue to go that way. We're in Alibaba as well, but now we're in a hell of a lot of shares. Okay, now we'll have to wait to see what happens here with Alibaba as it just drips into 75.50 again, which is your VWAP. So nice move back into Alibaba, starting to go a little bit downside now as the market's trying to follow suit, but not ARM. All right, just a quick little look there. I did really like Uber. We talked about how Uber is probably getting beat up a little bit too much and didn't really deserve to get beat up the way it did. But, you know, a lot of these high-flying names continue to fall back down. Oh, shoot. We're trying to do it again with Alibaba right now. So that's going to be hopefully a good take. We just got some out at 63s there. But Uber, again, nice move upside. If we can get back into 76.50 or so, I really do like that name. But the name that I'm picking on right now is a sticky no name of Alibaba, long now at 75.50. So we'll see if that can get going. That's going to be a good trade. Amazon, I'm going to leave it alone, but Amazon's right back in to a nice level that we're supposed to like, which is 168. So this is a level that I wrote down. I'm going to do a little bit more work. Actually, we wrote down 167. So let's go over to Adara, figure it all out, and then we'll look at Amazon as it's coming into 168 and see if there's any support down here.
IWM slightly to the downside today, looking to come back into that earlier area of resistance here for the IWM, but so many small caps running today to talk about, including Rapt Therapeutics. RAPT is the ticker for this one. This one initially traded much lower yesterday after the FDA had to halt 2 trials for this company, getting a series of downgrades, including one from JP Morgan, now seeing a 30+% recovery to the upside here. Interesting story for Rapt. Worth noting, we have a short float of about 11% on this one. Next up, we have EBS. This is Emergent Biosolutions. This one announcing its new CEO, former CEO of Bausch & Lomb, Joseph Papa. This one has a 20% short float and a float of about 50 million shares. Last but not least, we have Ventyx Biosciences, VTYX is the ticker here. This one trading higher amid some rumors that it's one of its inflammatory drugs has similar weight loss properties and so could be the next big weight loss drug to rival GLP-1. So interesting story here for Ventyx, guys.
All right.
So halt alert, the second one of the day on Lunar here. Intuitive halted to the upside. For those that are watching it, this was wild. It actually flushed from 13, didn't halt until it got to 870, opened back up and found a bid at $8. So it's halted at $9.91 with a theoretical auction price of $10.20. So Lunar absolutely flying around here. I might have missed it, but they were supposed to.
That's been a success.
Yeah, they landed. They landed.
Yep.
So that's what I looked. I'm like, did something go wrong with it? No, but they're just selling the news. So that launch, that private launch, they're holding they had like a NASA payload or something like that to the moon. It's like the first time in decades. So congratulations to them. But it was a sell the news event. It looks like here on LUNR. On a slap to fail on BABA. It does not hold 75.50. So I took about a 30-cent hit on Alibaba. This is still Lunar. There we go. So Alibaba does not hold on to the 75.50 level. Maybe we get the 75 breakout entry price, but I'm out of it. I'm now only in the Intel short. Still think there's some relatively strong names out there as the market has really, if you look at the NASDAQ, it has been bouncing for the greater part of the last 30 or 40 minutes since the open. I just missed the dip buy on Micron in front of that 80-30 level. I'm going to nibble in here. I want to give it to the quarters. I'll nibble in at the 40 level. But we noted this one is for some strength in yesterday's trade. So I want to see if I can take advantage of this higher low on Micron. Yeah, watch out for that, Lunar. Again, it seems like a sell the news event. It wasn't bad news. It was a successful launch, but sometimes that's how it is. Where like stock runs up because you're expecting success, and when you get it, then they sell it off and take the money.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we flipped over to a short on Alibaba because it failed again on those levels. It's the same reason, like we should have just gone short through 169 on Amazon. But despite what we feel about these names, sometimes when a level breaks, you sort of got to play with the momentum in that name. So we'll wait to see what Amazon wants to do. I was just looking at it. I feel like we need now, because of the way it's trading, we should wait. Obviously, it's up today, but it's not up relative to the market. I mean, the market is just chilling out at highs, pretty much at the high. I mean, we're not at the high. We're 20 handles away from the high. We're kind of, I guess, we're at VWAP. So, but the idea about all this is that Amazon is, of course, nowhere near VWAP right now, which would be 169.30. So you're well down on this name. Let's see if the pain will still come in for Amazon. Alibaba went down there. We put a bid at 37, but we didn't get it. Just trying to scalp out a little bit of profit back again, because we got some. Remember, we got some out for a win, and then the rest out for the L as we broke back down below as well. But I do like this trade. I just waiting to see where we go. ARM, we're 50 cents in the money again. So we reshorted more right here. Okay, if it's just going to fall like that, let me put a bid here, see if we can get something out in and around 40s or 50s. It doesn't look like it. If it does make one more move down, we'll take another 50 cents on this and then just keep on holding it. Our risk is 50 cents at this point, so we should probably take 50 cents if available. So we'll wait to see what is available here on ARM. Hopefully a downside push through 50, and then maybe we'll get that 122 again, and then at that point we'll see. So we've already gotten a 122. We're going to see if we can get that again coming up here on ARM. So far so good, and we'll just watch it. Although it's resisting a little bit right now, we'll try to bid some 53s there, and it does go back up against us. So again, you're gonna have to let this maybe I'll just pull all my bids and offers and get away. So we'll see what happens here. Maybe we could just get a little whoosh down here on ARM, which will fill us up somewhere. There it is. All right, so we get that. So we just punch out at 50 there. So there's a little 50-cent winner on ARM. We'll have to watch out for Alibaba, which is making a move back up, but we want ARM to die now. That would be our next request. So ARM, let's put a bid down here at 122 and see if we can get it now 122 flat or so on ARM. 60 cents in the money over there.
So I just reloaded some intel. I'm going to use quickly. We're looking for the lower high. We're not getting VWAP. I said I might have to take this one at a different level. So we're back into it after only taking the 44 trade. You're stair-stepping to the downside. I want to respect it. The futures battling with 17.5. If it tags as fresh low, fine. It also happens to be a seller at 85. They're just sitting on the offer. 50,000 shares isn't a lot. It's done 8 million, but I'll respect that as well. So we're back into some intel. The other thing is AMD just cracked 168. Sorry, Amazon just cracked 168. 167, that close yesterday, that's still the level I like. It was a level I liked even better for the long, and it looks like it's incoming on Amazon. So when that comes in, gonna look to take the long off the previous close, give it a little bit under that 167 level. Not too far though. I don't like the even dollar stop, but I will give it a little bit of room. Micron off of this 80.25, looking to hold on to that higher low. So if it's a one and done in Micron, I would wait until the 80 level to try it again. Just trying to take those little paper cuts. It does feel like it's still like a stair step down in some of the chip names, but there's no question to me Intel is the weakest one right now. So I'm on the bid at 43.70, which is the current low, and I still have a target of yesterday's bottom. I think this can flush all the way down into that if the market continues to look weak. Shoon Moon in the chat, shouting out Mara. It's good timing because I know in a couple of minutes we're going to go to the crypto segment. Mara breaking down. Oddly enough, Mara is doing that thing where you make higher lows and holding VWAP. Bitcoin not doing too poorly itself there as well. So it's not really breaking down. I'd say it's inside range on Mara, but I see higher lows and now holding VWAP. It doesn't mean it's going to go down, but just one note because we haven't really talked about it yet. I have my eyes on BTC, but the trades have been primarily chip names, Amazon, a little bit of sprinkle some EV in there, and Alibaba was a fail, but to me the fail isn't losing on the VWAP bounce. The fail was not taking the 75 break. Let's be real. I care more about following the plan than the results. And if 75 break was part of the plan and you don't get it, then that's the number one thing that I'm going to focus on. Okay, well, what was my reason for not doing it, and how can that be corrected the next time?
All right, we're going to wait for ARM to pull back in. We almost got that bid there. We're waiting still in the teens for this bid. Let's see if we can get, oh, we did get it actually, my bad. We did get that fill. Okay, we did get it. Bang, okay. So there's $1. So we did make that fill up right now, and we did reverse into a short there for Alibaba. So let's just wait to see what does happen here today in this market. Okay, Alibaba. Maybe we do get a little bit of a push lower rate here on the reload into the short. We'll bid some 41s, then I'm bidding some 37s, and then a little bit lower than that. So, there it goes. Okay, I was going to say, don't tell me we're on a paid thing right there. BTC long off 51K. That could be definitely something right there. I just noticed Cardano the other day got back up to 65 cents. We should have sold some. Now 59. That could be a look right there. So nice out there on Alibaba, man. It just went down to 41. Take advantage when these things start to happen. So, hey, man, if NVIDIA is flushing, just...
Short the pops?
Yeah, I mean...
Like Ray said.
This is why I didn't trade this today, honestly. It's just been like this. I feel like it's been really tough to trade. I mean, unless you really believed in the 685, which I guess would have been pretty good right there against the pre-market top. I feel like that's good, but you already broke it, so you'd have had to just take it now, which would be nice. It's a nice move back in. Look, we told you we would short ARM. So the damage here for me is going to be on ARM. Let's wait to see how far down this one wants to go. If NVIDIA cracks, just a matter of time. I'm bidding 121 now, so I am expecting to get, that'll be $2. Then we'll be all good. So let's wait to see what happens right now with ARM, as it is trying to go lower. All right, without any further ado, let's go find out what's going on with crypto and Adara at the desk.
Interesting story from yesterday regarding these spot Bitcoin ETFs, most notably HODL. This is Van X spot BTC ETF product. This one recorded 2,200% volume increase yesterday alone. This could have been because they announced that as of today, they actually have a decrease in trading fees from 0.25% to 0.2%. So that could have been potentially what was moving Van Eck here. Still only the third highest traded BTC ETF yesterday, but it did experience a surge from the average daily volume of about $17 million to yesterday, which is over 400 million. So nice look here for HODL. In terms of Bitcoin itself, at least today, falling a little bit here, just staying above that 51,000 level ever so slightly. We did dip below that pretty early this morning, but we've recovered pretty well. Definitely falling off a little bit of that top we had going back to early mid-February here, trying to fight below that 52,000. So we'll have to see what we do here on Bitcoin. Ethereum holding up slightly better, hanging out above that 2,900 level despite cracking 3,000 earlier yesterday. BNB up about 5.5%, but it's mostly to the downside for a lot of these other cryptocurrencies today, including Cardano down 1.7%, Ripple 1.4%, and Solana 1.5% to the downside, guys.
I mean, should have found a way into a firm today. I'm just looking at that one. It's about to take out yesterday's lows. And
oh my God, look at Rivian.
This might just go down like every single, like 4 out of every 5 days until it gets to 25. Like it's a flat bottom break. When a stock flat bottom breaks and you think the trend is the other way, you should be looking short and trying to find it. I like to short the pop into 38, but you need to get above 37.5 to get that fill. Intel did take the low of the day. I'm going to let it press into 43.50. Actually was sitting on the bid in front of yesterday's bottom. The market's near those lows. The bottom's actually 43.40. I'm just going to move back a little bit here. Joining the trend in the downside has worked. The good news for Micron, though, is it's holding the higher lows. The market's testing the bottom. Intel's testing the bottom. Micron's still holding that higher low. So there's some relative strength in Micron still. Now it needs to put up or shut up. And Amazon, it's underneath 167, 68, I should say.
Oh, gosh.
But it is not really pressing into that 167 level yet. So I'm waiting for yesterday's close. If it does go green-red, I'd look for the bounce off that 167 level in Amazon. Trying to be very patient with this because it is now trending to the downside.
Oh, man. Did we ever nail that Rivian? But unfortunately, like I just got long at 50 because I had a bid there. Like, come on. Like, I guess we just got out when it faded out there. we should have held onto something, but we would have only had a small piece. But anyways, definitely nailed that Rivian there today. I hope some of you, okay, here goes ARM. ARM's, hold on a second, gotta go back over to it. ARM is right now at 123.50, so this will we'll be red today. So here goes ARM right now, back upside, 123.50. Looks like it wants to break. Doesn't break there, but I feel like it's going to. We're short at 122.90, so about half of the damage here on ARM. There it goes. All right. So actually, I think we probably got a pretty good price there. Well, we got 66s there on ARM. So we'll slap a fail on that one as it goes, man. Yeah, it's for sure. Yeah, get out of ARM. Yeah, so I just did. I mean, there it goes. 124. I thought it was worth the risk on ARM today. So we'll give back a little bit of what we've made on the name. For me, it is what it is, but now up to 124. Let's just stay away. We should have been smarter about that on earnings day for NVIDIA, but you know what, man? We're now back to Greensville, obviously, there on Alibaba. So there it is, man. A nice push down for Alibaba on the short. Have the ability to flip it up and over on that one. So that's what we did for Alibaba. And there it goes back down in right now. So yeah, it's going to be obviously there a red day for me. And again, like I said, I don't have, you know, we can celebrate when we're there and celebrate when we're not. So that's what it is. And today was not a day for the longs. I mean, we tried the long in Amazon. Amazon was actually like I'm talking like we're red, but I mean at the end of the day, ARM just broke up there, so that last trade does suck. We were hitting these shorts, short and in. These are each $1, but again, we don't ever like to lose. So that would be that today, and then the only real good trade, like really good trade, was Rivian. This one never even went against us. And there it goes all the way back into 50. So there it goes, man. Up and down day for your boy here today. Let's just hold on and see what happens with. Let's just see what happens here with Alibaba. So that's what it is, man. We'll wait for Alibaba to see if it can do something.
Shout out to Vale in the chat there, Salinas. This is the real market. React, don't predict. I agree with you. Sometimes you just got to react. That's what real trading is all about. You got to get out, take the hits. It's a mixed bag this morning. I know what I'm going to be looking at. It's like there weren't many longs. It's showing you as my quote board here. The only things that are up, Nat Gas, okay, fair enough. I don't know what's going on there. But Chinese ADRs. Li Auto, Alibaba, Neo's in there, ARM's up, XOM, okay, XOM actually having a good day, XPeng to the upside, Tesla a little bit, Oxy. There's not a lot that's relatively strong today, but the top of the list is the Chinese ADR. So not getting Alibaba, that was the way to go, and that was the long that worked. But you've got to join the trend where you can. You know, so you can limit the losses, but there's always something trending. I don't care what kind of market you are setting up with. If you look hard enough, you're going to find something which is trending in the right direction. So when Alibaba came right in, Sean, when it flipped trend, worked into the short, eventually found Intel to the short side. If we get some Affirm, I think we got to be patient with that one at this time of day because it's like 10:36. Peterson, thank you. You said help slash some of the Amazon loss. That's all you're trying to do. Like for the Intel short, it's like sometimes there are flat days. I talked about a trader that used to trade on our floor where he didn't have any flat days. Like he'd never have days where he'd win some and lose some. It was like either all lose or just massive winners, and it's a really unsustainable thing. Sometimes you're going to have one of those days where you limit your hits, but you have a couple winners that are going to pay for it. Speaking of things that are getting hit, TDOC is at the next important level. It's breaking through 50. Like it tried to hold 15.5. It's now breaking down. Now, I tried it twice off 16. The first one was a flat trade. The second one was a loss. The $15 level is the first thing that we talked about with TDOC here, and maybe Kathy Wood will be buying. It doesn't look like she's buying right now, but the 52-week low on TDOC is right at this 15. It's probably like a couple of cents above. I'd have to look it up on Trade Ideas. But you get there for a bounce, and I will take another shot at TDOC at that level. If it bounces off 15, I like it. Right now it's Micron because it's holding higher lows, and Intel short because it's holding lower highs. So I'm going to try to scalp some of this Micron out. I actually should be adding to this on some strength. The market just put in a higher low as well. Renata, PANW is holding the 68, but it's not looking as strong as I would like. So I took the money and ran on that one, not looking as strong as I would like. If Palo Alto gets back above 70, I might be enticed back into that one.
Yeah, I have a 72 break here on PANW. I'm just going to play VWAP. So if it gets back above VWAP, then we'll take PANW. So we'll see what happens with that one. Yeah, 70, maybe it's 71.50 or so is like a VWAP break. I have it at 72. Anyways, if it gets back up to the upside, we will definitely be on that one. That's PANW. We definitely like that name. Alibaba out a little bit of that one. It's only 10:40. Like this day is feeling like it's going on and on and on here. All right, so we'll get some more out. I mean, we've already cleaned out of Alibaba really down here. Remember, we don't want to short a name that we initially really liked for a long. We'll wait. Rivian. Still mad about that one. Amazon, we'll just wait for 167, although it's coming in pretty decent right now for Amazon. Maybe that 167 is sort of the look that we need here for that. So if that does come out, we'll hit it on Amazon down at 167, but we're getting close to a level right now where you could try to buy. But again, with the way the market's been going, it might not be the greatest idea to sit in front of this train here today on that one for Amazon. And just like I was saying there in the chat, just like you guys were saying, like if traders like us, you know, you'll see here, we'll have Darren, Neil, myself, Sharif, and any of the traders, Obi, there'll be days where we're red, and it's just like, you know, that's just part of the game. You know, and today obviously is going to be, you guys can see the trades there. So a tough day, but we'll wait to see. We're still fine. You know, we'll still try to get green for you when we get back, but that's what we're doing right now, looking for more trading opportunities. We've got Alibaba to the short side, and then I'm going to wait for this Amazon long down near 167. Although I'm debating taking some now, but the market's underneath everything. So this is a worry spot for me at this point where we are in the market. So let's just hold on. I think we have Fed minutes later on. I'm not...
Fed minutes today, but I mean...
Those don't really mean anything.
They really don't.
Yeah.
No, I shouldn't say that because they mean something if you find something in the meeting minutes that surprises us. So when people when they get the list, get the minutes disseminated, and everyone reads through it and the algos do their thing, if there's something significant, then yeah, the market might react to it. It's just that I don't think we're going to see any surprises today in those meeting minutes. We kind of already know their stance and the pushing out of any cuts. So I'm not expecting any surprise. But well, you're here. If you check out the second stream, the position's been working, and it's going to have like the schedule. It shows you when the Fed speakers are. It shows when the meetings are going to be released. There's going to be headlines for the top stocks. All of that is there for you. But also there for you is Adara with Sector Watch. Keep forgetting to say.
Pretty mixed look here for the S&P 500. Of course, a lot of weaknesses in these tech-adjacent sectors. Tech services pretty much down across the board here. Notably, Palo Alto Networks down about 26% after providing weaker than expected guidance. We also have electronic technology. A lot of these chip names led to the downside ahead of NVIDIA's hotly anticipated earnings coming after market close. We also have Apple, one of the lone standouts to the upside here after announcing its Apple Sports app. So interesting look here for AAPL. Health technology pretty mixed except for Eli Lilly to the downside after a downgrade from DZ Bank. Finance mixed. Retail trade pretty mixed across the board here. A bit of a downside for Walmart in day 2 of earnings here. But energy and minerals pretty strong. Oil prices seeing a bit of an uptick. Utility strong. Consumer durables, transportation, and consumer non-durables all looking pretty green here, guys.
Occidental wants $60 today. It wants it.
Down,
I want it.
Down,
let's just do it because that would be fun. No, I mean, look, obviously it's going to do whatever the heck it wants to do. Oxy doesn't care what I say on this channel, but lower high here, 60 yesterday, 60.13 technically is this little bit of a top. That looks like a potential breakout. You got to keep your eye on crude oil prices. You want to make sure nothing's going ham to the downside or rejecting, but that looks like a potential breakout. We always say look for relative strength and weakness. The trail is continuing to move down on Intel because you're at yesterday's lows. This is a key price level. It's not just yesterday's low, it is also the close on Friday at this 43.4 level. So if it bounces from here, I'm getting out back through 50. Otherwise, we'll give it a shot to hold those lows. Relatively weak. I can't say enough about that. It could not break the top when other chip names did. Like this goes to the downside, makes lower highs. You juxtapose that with AMD, which ended up breaking out top, eventually back down to the lows, but it was breaking out top when Intel was looking weak the entire way. Palo Alto, is now back above the 270. So there you go. Like it's back above the 270. Put in some higher lows off that 268 level. I'd like to get a dip, maybe up that 70. The $2, you get 272 at VWAP, as Sean mentioned. You got 268 at the bottom, the 270 psychological, and it's right in the middle to boot. So I'm looking for a bounce off that 270 again. In Palo Alto.
Yeah, we should be long. I just punched long.
It didn't break.
No, it's okay. But VWAP is right here anyway. So VWAP is at 271.50, but it doesn't matter. We'll take the long here and just see. We'll give it back to 270 or so there for Palo Alto. That could be where we go. We'll take the long right now on PANW. We were initially going to wait for that, but we've really started to bank out a little bit right here on BABA. So that's still my PANW chart. Here's Alibaba. So look at this, man. We really reversed it into the short, and that's, to me, sometimes you can make a call, obviously, and be wrong with it, but make the money back elsewhere. So we'll do that here with Alibaba. Of course, ARM is now in the money, but this is what's going to happen. Looks like that 124 might have been the top. We'll get back into ARM. I'm sure we'll get this figured out, but I would definitely like to see this a little bit underneath if we can get that for ARM. So that's on my look and on my radar right now. And then the PANW is starting to fall in a little bit here. So we just have a starter position on PANW, looking to get it back. Well, it's coming back into 270 right now. So let's buy a little bit here and watch out for like a 260. Like if we break, this is the 50 period. So that's 269, 269. Looks like where we'll have to sort of tap out here a little bit on PANW. So right now, Pan's coming in just a little bit. That's fine for us. We'll wait for it. It's never fine, but we'll wait. And then Alibaba's pulling in a little bit too. So here comes PANW. It looks like we sort of bounce off that VWAP. We'll take it there. We'll see if it can get back up, but it's the 50-period trade right now for PANW.
So I just got into Palo Alto as well, and I'm just going to address something I saw in the chat. Someone saying their broker doesn't have Palo Alto on the platform. Look, all I can say is here at Real Trading, obviously we're going to trade like any major name. We're going to have it. We're going to have locates on it. That seems questionable. I would contact your broker and be like, why don't I have one of the biggest stocks in the market? I don't know. Again, you should be asking that question. This is not some small cap stock that's doing no volume. Like Palo Alto is literally the leader of its group. Your broker works for you. If you got questions that doesn't make sense to you, I would ask, why can't I trade PANW? So I just want to make sure I address that. CrowdStrike also making some power moves as well. If you're looking for a sympathy name, for whatever reason you can't trade a CrowdStrike, Zscaler, both of those are down on sympathy. I just got VWAP on a firm here short because, like Intel, stair step to the downside. Well, if you're taking the stairs down, then you want to look for that next step, and it looks like it's that 36.80 level. So we should have had this one at the open, but it didn't really give us a fill where I would have liked it. So short it now into VWAP. I'll probably give it a little bit past into the 90 level and then see if it can continue its trend into the downside. I like the 270 on Palo Alto, so it made the hold of the higher low. I'm going to scalp some out to VWAP and then shoot for 275, which is already a resistance level on Palo Alto. The other name, we only have 15 minutes to go till the midday, but you know what? The position board's working on more TraderTV Live and the second stream, so you can always follow along here. I would suspect most of these would still be, we're going to be trading most of the same names. Sometimes you'll get something new, and that's an easy way to get a bit of an update. And we appreciate everyone checking that out and all the good feedback that we got yesterday. Shout out to everybody for all of that. Affirm is a new position for me to the short side. The others are all things that we've already been trading. So go down, Affirm. It's what you do best.
Yeah, go up PANW as well. We're now in the money, obviously, on that one. So let's wait to see. But it is a decent spread. We're going to wait for 271.50 to see if we can get that one. We really like this PANW. We just rebought it. We did get out of some, on that move upside right here again for PANW. So let's see how far we want to go right now. I hope for very far on PANW. We're in the money on this. I might just have to P&L chase a little bit. So we'll take it out there at 25s. Like we said, we're both trading this completely different with completely different share sizes. So watch out here as there goes PANW. Man, we're literally making money here back on what's been a tough day. So there goes. Yes, sir. Let's go PANW. Here we go, baby. This is what we're talking about. Let's see where Palo Alto goes right now, back up to the upside. Come on, Pan. I'm going to put another offer right here around 271.70s. Maybe we can get this name real going. Now go PANW. This could be a real, there. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. There it is. It's a dollar club member right there for PANW. So good trade there. Wow. We were in a little bit of trouble there until we found PAN. So there it goes, man. Nice trade right there. Thank you, Palo Alto, for making this one a very, very special one. There it goes, back upside again. We're almost out of half right now of PANW. What the hell do we do? This is going to be P&L. The largest trade here today is PANW. We just took it out right there at 272. Let's go. This is what we're talking about. You know, sometimes you're down and out. And then, just like the Undertaker, we rise again. And there it goes, man. That's my favorite meme out there. The Undertaker rising. And there it is. We just did it again. So there it is, man. That's it. Let's go. Nice move back up for PANW. Congratulations. I know you got it. We got it.
Break this 72.
Yeah, let's break yourself. There it goes. Let's see if it can break. Break through 272.
Bit of an iceberg. It's going to get it, though. It's got it. There it goes. Someone's still trying to hold this down at the 72 level. Remember, because it's SSR, like you'll get stacked offers, and you will see stuff like that because they can't hit the bid to go short. So people that are trying to short got to sit on the offer. So when you get to a 72, you're going to see some of that kind of crap where it's going to try to go. I still think you get to 75. It's putting in the higher low. Renata, I know you got this one at 68. The higher low of 68 was pretty good. I wanted to see the stair step up, so we're one in the second time, just like before. Once it hits target one, just like last time. First trade took $2. That was the range, and then gave it to break even. It broke break even, I got out. Same thing here, but this time it's still 270. It has not made the higher break to move the stop up. If it breaks 72, I'm going to move the stop up. Thankfully, Palo Alto is going to carry this day. As the market's looking a little bit strong, guess what else is starting to go? Only VWAP again, but Micron, throughout that entire move back down in the market, Micron held into this higher low. I think it's a good sign, but I am going to scalp it into the middle of this range. From 830 to 865 is that range. It goes another 10 cents, I take another leg out and see how far it can go. That 272, it'll break it eventually, but they're still holding 272 on Palo Alto. As we check in on the USD and others with Adara for Money Talks.
Bit of a drop for the DXY yesterday from that 104.30 area back into that support of 104. Currently holding that support and kind of former resistance becoming support level that we've seen going back to May 2023. So pretty calm level here for the DXY heading into these FOMC meeting minutes that we're getting at 2 p.m. These FOMC minutes. Before that, we get a couple. We get one Fed speaker at 1. That's going to be Fed Bowman. Then we get Fed Collins after the minutes coming at 5:30 today. So lots of Fed speaking, lots of information to keep an eye on with regards to the DXY. Stay tuned, guys.
Fed speakers, Fed minutes, they matter a little bit, but what matters more today is going to be NVIDIA earnings after the bell. There's other stuff reporting, Rivian, Lucid, and some other ones. I guess if we can get at some point we'll get the board up there. But all will be live on the Market Recap Show. So if you're wondering what the heck is going on with NVIDIA and you look at your charts after market, you don't have to. It's earnings, and if you want to know what they are and where it's actually going in real time instead of at 6 o'clock, then make sure you tune in to the Market Recap Show. Rivian's going to be a mover as well. I fully anticipate you're going to get some fireworks out of those two EV names. But NVIDIA earnings, everyone in the market has been waiting for this. You call it like the Super Bowl of earnings now because they've been driving this AI craze. And the bus will either continue to go or it'll head off the road at about 4:05 today.
So we keep saying that the stream is working, but it's not working. Our last trades aren't working. So the positions look to be fine here, but the last trades on the stream definitely not working. I've reported that. They're not working for Neil either. But I just started looking at it now for the first time, so I don't know if that's been a continuous problem. But second stream, not working. So pay attention to that. Well, that's why we getting out when PANW goes up to VWAP, right? So we have two fills up there at 272. So now it's fading right back in to the bottom again. So let's wait to see what happens right now with PANW fading back in. I still want to wait for 269. Let's wait to see what happens right there. Hopefully we don't turn this winner into a loser, but that could happen at any time. We are getting out more Alibaba. It seems to have bottomed there at 75.20 or so. Sure, the fills are not, last trade's not working. Last trade's not working. Okay, so right there, we'll wait for PANW to go and more. So we'll get this going right now on Alibaba. That's going to be my last trade. We can check in on Coinbase and whatnot, looking to see if that's going to happen right now. 165. Wow, 165 for Coinbase. Okay, I feel like that's a little higher than I thought it was at. Yeah, 162.50. Bitcoin's still pretty much holding right now for that level. So we'll have to wait to see what's going on right now with Bitcoin. But watch out for 162. That seems like a good price right there.
Yeah, I mean, BTC's actually been pretty stable over 50,000. I keep thinking every single day I look at it, I'm like, we're going to pull back on 52 and actually bounce at 50,000. And you don't quite get there. So it's been a little bit stable off that level. You'll see I'm now out of Intel. So it bounced off of yesterday's low. Just let it sort of trail into that level. It bounced right here at 43.40, and I just jumped out of it at 50. You got to take profit somewhere eventually, but it could still head lower. It got one fill at VWAP, and then Micron broke support. So we just got to push back into the upside. Now it breaks support. I'm not touching this unless it bounces off the $80 level. So I tried it up here at the 80.30 level. If it doesn't go, then I'll give it another shot if it can bounce off the lows. That's the way I want to try to keep it tighter to the vest. PANW, which Sean just mentioned, just going to go over these things with 5 minutes to go here. Got to zoom back in because what an overnight move PANW just made. 270 into 272. I'm looking for the reload off the 270 level. Sitting there at 12, so didn't get the fill. But gonna look for the reload off the 270 and then scalp back into the 272. Affirm is still holding at VWAP. Trying to press over. I'm giving it to the 90 level. I'm short here at 78. If it shows me a little bit more weakness, like holding under VWAP, then it can be an add and looking for the low of the day. This has been like Intel trending down, difference being Intel's at the low of the day. This is actually at VWAP for a reloaded trade. So trying to keep it a little bit tight to the vest. Keep in mind, everybody, the thing that everybody is waiting for is going mostly side. Like NVIDIA got one bad wick here, but this is mostly sideways on NVIDIA. Holding under VWAP for like a $2 range. It did some movement at the open, but there are other stocks that are trending. This is the importance of the market and finding the right things to look at. That's why we put out notes in the morning. That's why we go over the things that are going to move. And sometimes going into earnings, everyone's looking the other way and afraid to make a big bet on NVIDIA, which is expected to be double digits one way or the other after market.
All right. We'll take another long here on PANW. Only 4 minutes to go. Yeah, join us tonight, and we'll have, if we have the earnings board, we can throw that up. We'll do that in just a minute. Some good names coming through, and how much fun did we have yesterday with PANW coming through again. So that should be a lot of fun. Let me know when it's ready to go, and we'll talk about some of those names because I've still got to look myself. I have the board up right now in front of me. I'm not seeing too many huge names, but we'll wait to see what's coming through. I think there's a few more tech names coming up today. We have NVIDIA is what I'm trying to get at. So we do have NVIDIA coming through today, which is going to be a monster one.
Never heard of it.
Never really heard of it. Let me know in my ear when we have it. Otherwise, I'll just show this right now. Suncor, there's not much happening. I mean, it's honestly, I say that tongue in cheek, but I kind of like mean it. Like there's really just NVIDIA here. We'll wait for some Suncor. Here we go. Here's the board right now. So Dutch Bros. I mean, I have to check that stock actually because that's been a pretty decent name if I remember correctly. PANW trying to go back up. I don't want to take 50 cents. All right. Other than that,
Bros is small, 50 mil float only.
Yeah.
And 13%
50 mil
short.
float. Okay.
And then 13% of it's short. So Dutch Brothers is a mover. Etsy. Yeah,
I forgot about
Etsy.
Rivian there. That's just such a small market cap.
That's
13 million on Rivian.
Oh, Moderna and Nikola before the open tomorrow.
Yeah, those are going to be good ones.
Those are definitely going to be movers. Moderna's been under a lot of pressure. That stock's a double digit for, I want to say for sure because nothing's 100%. But sorry, I'm sneaking a peek to see if I can find Moderna's expected move on your sheet there. I'm guessing it's probably double digit, and Nikola for sure is going to.
No, they don't even have it. What is Moderna's market cap? I don't know. It seems it's really that low. I don't have it.
Okay, never mind. No, I was just curious. mRNA.
I don't have Moderna on here.
So we'll watch that one tomorrow morning. They've been under a lot of pressure, back under that $100 level, definitely testing some of those lows. We didn't mention this one, but I did tell my wife, if you're going to spend all these money on these watches, you should just bought some Garmin. Whatever. It's like, you can
How
get an
often
Apple.
does she buy a
You can get an
watch?
Apple Watch. You know, she's had like 3 of them
Yeah.
over the years. It's just she doesn't do triathlons anymore. But anyways, they're a very specialized market. You get people to spend $1,500 on a smartwatch or $2,000 when there's now alternatives in the market. When they cornered the market, it was a very different story.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff that this does if you're really, really serious this after that I guess is cool. But this actually broke out some highs today. Kind of sometimes these boring names for investments. This looking like one of the better ones. What is not a good one today is anybody that bought TeleDoc going into their earnings. Suffice to say, it's still headed down. With 2 minutes to go, it's very close to 15 bucks. So I tried it at 16. I'm looking for the bounce off 15. It's down 25%, so that means it's short sell restricted. All that means is you cannot hit the bid to initiate a short position unless there's an uptick. It does mean sometimes you get decent bounces. I'll be looking for that bounce around the $15 level on TeleDoc. It is the 52-week low. Nasty day for TeleDoc. Nasty day for, PANW is at least holding its bottom, the bottom.
Yeah.
That's the difference. TeleDoc is not. It's continuing to go lower. SolarEdge has been boring. It's actually doing a bit of an inside day.
All right, let's take another fill right now and ring a little bit of registers as we'll go cha-ching right there on Alibaba right now. So it's a nice little downside push. Obviously another green name for us today. We'll have 2 red names, Amazon and ARM, and 2 green names and good ones as well. PANW will be pending, but this Rivian, this should have been a hella green, man. We would have made, if we just held, we would have made back everything, but we didn't, so it's okay. That's going to be a good one there. And then obviously we just talked about Alibaba. So 2 good ones and 2 bad ones, including ARM, which of course now, it's just we have to get stopped out on some point there. So unfortunately on ARM, that did happen right there. There is some decent size here at 70 on PANW, but it's probably going to break. We could get out. We're long. That move went up to 87 there. It would be nice if PANW really got going. We're long right here at 20s. So we'll see if that's coming through again. But yeah, join us. Make sure you go over to more Trader TV Live. We'll get that page working soon. And at that point, it will be updating. But for right now, it's there. Check it out. Bears vs. Bulls will put our post there. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And we're going to go over to the midday right now with Sharif and Adair. They're talking all terminology.
Ooh.
So that should be really exciting.
Some verbiage.
So let's go find out some terminology from these 2. See you guys. 2 o'clock.
Oh, what? Okay, that's the wrong shit. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as